Welcome to Meta Monday! How you guys doing? The Metapocalypse continues. I'm your host and tonight's GM, James Durham. Joining me at the table, I have Maggie and Christian Doyle, Jess Weaver, and
Hi.
Luke Admonson.
Hello!
Woo!
Yes, they are here. Can they stop Tom before he tears the Metaverse apart? Time is running out. Masters of the Metaverse, like all of our Zoe programming, is made possible by viewers like you. Check out our Patreon page now to see how you can support this show and other wonderful Zoe projects, like Zoe Game Night or the new upcoming Big Stompy Robots. I'm not sure I'm even supposed to talk about Big Stompy Robots, but I just said Big Stompy Robots.
You are.
And I said Big Stompy Robots one more time there. Oh, and did you guys know that there is a Journey Quest Kickstarter going on right now?
Poppycock.
Yes, there is a Journey Quest Kickstarter. I mean, I would think that, the three of you would know, but then again, it's a
I'm out of the
possibility.
loop.
I see. I also want to take a moment and give a shout out to some other good shows like Dragons and Things. People brought to you by the people who Walking in Circles, and they happen to be partnered with Paizo, and they play Pathfinder, sometimes even well. Fridays from 6 to 10 on Pacific, or how about Table Takes? It's on the Gen Con channel, and we host it on this channel here. Fridays, 11 a.m. Pacific. You can see Christian on that.
Watch me get way too excited about games.
Yep.
And mention, they should have a Rifts running counter, I think, per episode.
It's a
Kind of
drinking
thing.
game now, right?
Yeah.
I decided it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of shout-outs, how about some of our special Patreon backers?
Please.
Charles Negron,
Woo!
Thank you,
Thank
Charles.
you, Charles.
Christopher Rosa, thank you.
Yeah.
Christopher.
Amanda Jose Alderman,
Yeah.
thank you.
Amanda.
Man, you got 2 out of 3 family members. My dad is named Charles and my brother's named Christopher.
Ah.
Well, that's what
I
happens.
know an Amanda. I
Yeah.
know not my family, but
Did you guys know that they can affect this game
What?
every single
How?
week?
Oh, we have discovered.
No, I don't know.
Over
Yes, they
time,
can.
We have discovered.
We have our amazing store. You can take a look at it now. There are some great things that have already been picked up right now. We've got a couple of meta points, a moment of clarity in there. A couple of the buffs have been purchased. 2 of Crash's buffs are in there already. That's kind of nice. And for me, it looks like guys have a meta meltdown in there. You're probably going to be seeing that this evening. I love those. Oh, and you know what else they can do is they have these great little polls they can vote on every week to try and
Yeah.
help you guys out, or mostly just to try to make me feel bad about how much more they like all of you than they do me.
well, now, come on.
It's true.
So,
They try and break all of their favorite things.
Luke, you get +3 to a roll and +20 hit points this week.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Jess, you get +4 to a roll and +20 hit points this week.
Plus 20 hit?
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Maggie, you get +3 to a roll and +20 hit points this week.
Shanker.
I get +2 to a roll and +20 hit points. And because they obviously care about him vastly more than the rest of us, Christian gets +10 to a roll
What?
and +20 hit points.
All right. Hey, chat. We need to talk.
Chat. Let's chat.
Let's chat.
Let's chat.
We don't need to chat. You're perfect, just the way you are.
We all play equally.
I'm just happy to
Do
be
we?
part of the team.
No, don't give it. Don't give it.
I'll share one of my buffs with you, guy.
Well, there you go. Pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
I love these guys. I also want to take a moment and thank our wonderful mods, Pax, AK, we love you.
Oh, thank you.
Couldn't do this without
Yes,
you.
thank you,
Thank you.
Pat.
And Pax just isn't a mod, she's also one of our collaborators, writers, and
Yep.
She
contributors.
is.
No, cannot forget that. And
Amazing.
we've got Leo back there by herself.
Yay!
Hi, Leo.
We're not cheering because you're by yourself.
Yes. Aw. And how about we roll some credits?
Yeah. Masters.
Conscripted by a secret organization, a group of strangers is loaded into experimental metapods, hurtling their souls across dimensions and into unsuspecting avatars. With each trip across reality, these newly minted metapilots gain access to unique powers and abilities, slowly transforming them into true masters of the Metaverse.
Masters of the Metaverse, masters of the Metaverse. They travel through time and space and stuff. Troll them, re-roll them, throw them above. They fly through dimensions, this isn't a bluff. Heroes compelled they have no choice. The model wins of a secret voice. Masters, masters of the metaverse. Masters, masters of the metaverse. Masters, masters of the metaverse. Masters, masters of the metaverse.
Welcome back. So, let's get you guys up to speed. After the events in Earth 668, the world that some of you know as Sentinel City, and the starting revelation from Colonel Jackson that the threat to the metaverse is none other than Tom, it has been a whirlwind of activity and revelations. During those events in Earth 668, Hex Destiny and Balthazar the Grey crossed the streams and reversed the pilot avatar relationship with Rosie Harvin and Wyatt Maxwell, using their bodies in the Prime Metaverse as avatars, so that they could quickly reach the mortally wounded Bruno Hamilton and save him with magic. But when they arrived at that place of power in Africa, Bruno was still quite alive, which, considering the amount of blood and the severity of the wound, was also quite impossible. But even now, he sleeps soundly across the room from all of you. Miss Andy James by his side, waiting for him to wake up. Thankfully, before the reverse and pilot avatars with Rosie and Wyatt could become yet another obstacle, whatever magic it was that was binding them in place faded, sending Balthazar and Hex back to their own metaverse, where hopefully they and the citizens of Earth 668 can have a chance to rest, rebuild, and mourn their losses. You're all together now, thanks to Colonel Jackson. He does bear a striking resemblance to Crash, though age or the burdens he carry on top of that stress have not been kind to him. He slept little, constantly pores over notes and charts, mumbles to himself, seems to subsist solely off of bourbon and coffee, and is constantly accompanied by Jebediah. And then there's his other shadow. Quiet but always there, his presence both unnerving and fascinating. John Stone, or at least what's left of John Stone. He's more machine than man now, and the technology is like nothing you've ever seen. A silent sentinel, ever present, guarding the Colonel at all times.
Creepy.
And while Colonel Jackson knows that trust is in short supply, he has made the threat quite clear.
So he is James.
He has seen the future, and in it, the metaverse as we know it will end. Well done, Pax. Yeah, one break for Pax, thank you. Unless Tom is stopped. Tessa, Thomas, Rosie, Jenica, and Aquamarine were able to take one possible location off the list, but others remain. Colonel Jackson has been a wealth of information and secrets, a member of the program who went undercover to infiltrate the founders. It was then that he discovered this threat to the metaverse. Enlisting the aid of Jebediah, he intended to unite the two organizations to face this coming threat, but could not overcome the distrust, prejudice, and the years of hatred that had been built up between them. The program had already begun Project Metaverse by then, their third attempt to manufacture metapilots from the general population. During the fallout of the failed attempt at unification, Heinrich seized power, first at the Project Metaverse facility, and then program-wide. Meanwhile, an informant who would later be identified as none other than Tom began feeding secret information to the leadership of both sides, ensuring an aggravation of hostilities between the two, and making Colonel Jackson's dream of uniting the two to stop this coming threat completely impossible. Tom had beaten him at every turn, and he didn't even know it yet. But the Colonel did not give up easily, and with your help, Tom will be stopped and the metaverse saved. But at what cost?
$4.99.
My sanity.
Wyatt, well, now you know what it's like to be an avatar, I suppose. How very interesting. As surreal as the whole situation is, metaverses, magic, avatars, the threat, the plot, its intricacies, schemes are something you learned to excel at a long time ago, and while you don't trust the word of this Colonel Jackson one bit, you do trust facts and information, which he has in spades. You put the pieces together. This threat, it's definitely real and is happening. But as a man that always sees all the angles, you can't help but notice that the Colonel is playing one here, one he doesn't want anyone else to see. And you've decided for now it's best to just keep quiet and keep an eye on him. Well, he's certainly an enemy to Tom in the destruction of the metaverse. He's not necessarily a transparent ally. He's hiding something. He's also brilliant, dangerous, charismatic, and right now looked at by almost everyone here like he's the hero of the whole thing. So it's best to keep these kinds of things to yourself. Rosie, you can still feel Hex in your mind. Just traces, but she's there. It must be what it's like for her after you're gone. Somehow the connection you share with her, it's even stronger now. You know that she's happy right now. She's determined. She's feeling some grief about the loss of some of the citizens and people. But there's more. There's a contentness. It's a stability that you have never really felt from her before.
It's because she's dating Johnny Legion.
Space princess.
All of this.
Just stop. Space princesses. Wow. And Tessa, that was interesting. Too bad you didn't get much of a chance to talk about all this program founders nonsense. But it was great to go back to that metaverse, even if you did almost get eaten by a giant mimic. Maddox, it has taken almost a week to get back to yourself. As Skinwalker, that horrible thing Kronos condensed you down into a box, trapping you inside it, alternating the temperature and pressure to huge extremes. Your entire existence was pain. A worse pain than you've ever even conceived of. You never thought that you could ever break, or you always thought you could endure anything. You know, if not for yourself and that competitive spirit and edge you have, then for Mac, but not that. There is absolutely nothing you wouldn't do to make sure you never go through anything like that again. And that thought makes your stomach crawl. For the first time in your life, you know what it is to be afraid. Max seems to have noticed the change too, but thankfully between Crash and Aquamarine, he's been staying busy. It's really good to see him opening up, laughing, talking with people, and the fact that they treat him like a normal person revives a hope in you that you long thought dead. Tom, that son of a bitch. Sure, according to the Colonel, Tom thinks he's protecting everyone, but you have your doubts. Controlling everyone and protecting everyone are not the same.
No, they are
And you
not.
don't believe Tom doesn't know the difference. You don't know what or how, but when the time comes, you'll do what needs to be done, even if the rest of your friends don't have the stomach for it. Something best kept to yourself. Crash.
Yeah?
They're all here. Your friends,
I
your
know.
dad, your sister, even the metaverse. It's all here. It would be great if it wasn't so scary and dangerous. Mm-hmm. It would be fun if people weren't getting hurt. But they are. They always are. It's hard to not to be able to save everyone. It hurts sometimes doing the things you have to do, like with Heinrich in the desert. But you understand it. You understand the sacrifice, the burden. It would seem that Tom does not. You thought for a while he did, and maybe he could even be your friend too. But he's broken, just like Dr. Migraine. And if you don't stop him, he's going to hurt a lot of people in a lot of metaverses. According to Colonel Jackson, this trip to the metaverse should be to the place you know as the Weird West. Exactly when is uncertain. But that doesn't matter as long as you can reach Joe's Diner. Secure it and prevent it from being a place that Tom can use to access for his plan. Hopefully it'll be enough. Stepping into your pods, the light of the metaverse surrounds you. The scene is tense and quiet. A full moon, the color of blood, brilliantly glowing in the sky above, casting long shadows down a dirt main street. The occasional tumbleweed rolling across. Cold breeze sways the dimly lit oil street lamps.
So, those flaming Borks might have started a fire and caused the forest to burn down, but Borky Bob Borkton had this great idea to open a restaurant and the Bork sauce burgers are selling like hotcakes, which oddly aren't themselves selling very well. Hashtag hack attack.
Thank you, Bork.
Thank you, chat.
Oh, the Borks.
At one end of the street, astride horses the color of burning embers, hooves aflame and snorting smoke. The terrifying forms of Jesse James and Doc Holliday, wreathed in hellfire, reeking of brimstone. The hands of the devil himself touching the world. At the other end, a sweaty, pallid, terrified man cowers behind the silver-haired Professor Richard Gatling, his pants seemingly missing, and the proud Annie Oakley, rifle in hand. For months, Gatling and Oakley have pursued the Devil's Riders, Doc Holliday, Jesse James, Billy the Kid, and John Wesley Harden. The four have been spotted all over Yosemite, riding into towns on their hellish steeds and dragging people away into the night on lassos of fire, never to be seen again. At last you have reached their quarry first. No more citizens of the kingdom shall fall to these two fiends. For nearly 8 years you've done the devil's handiwork across the world, riding forth from purgatory to drag damned souls back to hell to pay their due. Ever since the Alamo, you aren't quite sure what happened that night. Well, when it was done, the devil raised you up and set your very soul afire and ordered you to ride for him, a price to be paid for a bargain made. What that bargain was, you can't quite recall anymore. But what must be, and so you have ridden forth and dragged the condemned back to face or pay their due, time and time again. Each of them worse than the last, horrible souls, killers, rapists, practitioners of the dark arts, vile miscreants all. Although most kept such traits carefully concealed from those around them, leaving the common folk to regard the four riders as demons, hated fiends who ride forth in the night and kidnap folks to places unknown. Roosevelt ordered 2 of his best after you, Annie Oakley and Professor Richard Gatling. You have long sought to avoid this confrontation, but it would seem that time has passed. You have a soul to claim, and they stand in your way. Let's do a system shot before we get started.
That was fast.
Yeah, all right.
We're going to start on the dock side of the table, and we are going to put you in full pilot.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. Goody gumdrops. So are your pants seemingly missing or totally missing?
They are currently not there. You are 1 away from pilot.
Pilot. There you go.
You will be 1 away from Avatar. And you will also be 1 away from Avatar.
Oh.
You can clearly see the pilot outlines on your foe is facing you across the street. Being as no one is full
I
Avatar.
was gonna say, yeah, we're all aware.
I was kind of hoping somebody.
Yeah, right? You know, you can lie on the dice sometimes.
So
I cannot.
where are we?
You are currently in Bannock, Montana.
Double glasses. All right. Montana, and then we're in the street, right?
Yes, you
With
are
the-
in the main street of
who's
Bannock. Isn't
cowering?
really a big town, so the main street is about a block long, and that's the only street.
Who's this person cowering behind me and Gatling? Who's
It's
this
a
friend?
fellow by the name of John Heath. Just a
John
local businessman, owns one of the general store in town.
Now, Mr. Heath, I implore you to stay behind the wagon at all costs. We'll get these ruffians out of your way post-haste. Now, where were we in our conversation?
Oh no.
No need for this to get ugly now. We do have work to do.
Oh, right. Work. Right, well, you can skedaddle, and we'll just send Mr. Heath back to where he's from and call it even.
Not the work I was talking about. Joe's, Tom.
Right.
I am 100% with you at the moment, Mr. Holliday, Dr. Holliday.
If you will, yes.
So we let Mr. Heath go, and we go on our merry way.
We just stop getting ready to kill each other.
Right. I mean, I would kill all of you anyway. It's really pointless.
Ah, yes, the braggadocious Miss Annie Oakley.
The correct Miss Annie Oakley.
Well, as fun as that might be to hypothesize, we do have more pressing business.
Indeed. Goodbye, Mr. Heath.
He runs. Takes off around the building and he's out of sight.
We'll get him later.
Okay.
As
was
I
gonna
am
say-
looking around, I am noticing that you and I are without flaming steeds. That's hardly fair.
Well, it's not about what's fair. It's about who needs what. And I'm pretty sure our horses need to be a flaming.
Perks of the job,
Oh.
And what exactly is your job, Doctor?
nothing good.
I heard you was a dentist.
Yes, in another life.
Everyone say hi to Lisa. She's in chat.
Lisa!
Hey, Smalls. Mein sister.
So, do we know where this Joe's is? I still haven't been to one of these yet.
I haven't either.
It's that way.
Which
Due
way?
south.
Yes, I told him earlier. We were on our way there earlier. It was due south. Just go with it. I'd like to ride one of these horses. Let's trade.
One of ours?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't be able to handle
I'm
this
pretty
steed.
sure I can handle
I
that
don't think
steed.
you could
I'm
because
pretty-
this
yes,
is
I
my
can.
steed.
Right, but
So-
I can ride your steed. that's a fact.
Okay, well, agree to disagree.
he knows that.
But I do have one question about this Joe's Diner. Now, is it labeled Joe's Diner? Or will it be looking and be calling something else?
Well, why would they do a thing like that? That hardly makes any sense at all. Why would... Now, if I had a tack and feed store and I said local restaurant on there, I would end up with nothing but upset customers all the time.
It's an animals restaurant as soon as I'm concerned, but
But
I
the
don't...
animals don't pay for it.
I mean,
That's why we call it a tack and feed shop. Men go in,
I
they buy
understand
tack
that.
and feed.
So everyone knows what a Joe's Diner is. If we asked where it was, anyone would be able to point it out.
And I tell you, it is that way.
Did you just come from there?
Nope,
Well, how do you know it's that way?
I don't, but I do. The little man in my head is telling me to go that way.
The little man, like,
Him.
The boy with the hair and the no eye contact and the social skills of a very small child. That's the one I speak of.
right?
The boy, the man child.
With the hair
That's the one.
that you speak of.
I'm with you.
All right. I'm gonna stay on my steed.
We'll see for how long.
I'm going to hitch up the wagon, Miss Oakley, if you would care to ride alongside or sit shotgun. You're more than welcome as always.
Due to a prior trademark agreement, Sapphire Industries is unfortunately barred from selling souls. However, we do sell soul substitutes, of which 7 out of 10 politicians claim they are unable to tell the difference between them and the real thing. Hashtag hack attack.
Nicely done. Thanks, Jack.
Oh, that was good.
You know that it's quite some distance south of where you are currently located.
Oh my, that will be a bit of a walk.
Well, hitching up our horses might speed things up considerably.
Let me get this straight, Doc Holliday. You would like to take your giant flaming war horse and hitch it to my snake oil wagon, so
Well, you-
that we may make better time on our long journey due south to Joe's Diner.
That would be my recommendation, yes. I don't see
I'm 100% in agreement with this plan. I think it's wonderful.
I don't see
Excellent.
anything to be gained.
It is in fact such a fine plan that I almost thought that Miss Annie Oakley came up with it herself, because the plan is so good.
Why, thank you.
You are very welcome.
Well, I like to just put out there for the record, she didn't, and my steed will be my steed, even though I will share it with y'all in the wagon.
Miss James, I have been hoping to meet you for some time. Many, many years, in fact.
Yes.
Long before your association with the great Beelzebub. Back before the Alamo incident we have all heard about.
Oh.
I just say it is an honor to be riding alongside you on this quest.
Oh.
We don't get much chance for new company, let alone to meet peers, especially ones that we normally would be shooting.
After we get them hitched up, actually. Now, how specific can you pinpoint where to the south we are needing to be going?
You know, I'm not rightly sure.
Several thousand miles.
Quite a ways. Couple of 1,000 miles, I would say.
Well, let's see if we can pin that down a little better, getting a little closer. I got a trick that might work here.
The exits are rather fixed in that location.
Okay.
Entrance is easy. Exits not so much.
That would be what, South America?
By my calculations, yes it would.
Whole other continent. Don't believe I've ever been to another continent before.
Well,
Except for my studies abroad.
abroad.
Manitoba, Canada.
That's the
Not
opposite
another-
direction.
Not another
Saskatchewan.
continent.
And I wrote several letters to Oxford.
Nobody's ever heard of Saskatoon.
I have.
Saving, of course, Miss Oak.
Well, she'll tell you she invented Saskatoon. And Miss James, that's what I wanted to tell you. It is best to stroke the ego of those who are more prone to sensitivity about it than not. Not speaking of Miss Oakley, of course, whose confidence far outweighs any of our own, as well as her ability.
Well, and hypothetically, if one doesn't,
Well, then I imagine it's going to be a bit longer of a journey than we had originally anticipated.
well, for
As
the
a-
common interest of the group, I hear you, and I'm putting it up in the docket.
Just trust me, it's usually best just to go with it. The arguments can take a long time. Did so.
Did not.
See,
Oh,
we've been at that one since 1879.
I'm winning.
Yes, that is a
She
powerful
is
argument.
not.
alrighty. Well,
Well, if you are ready, I do believe I have a bit of a shortcut for us.
Good, and while we are riding, let me tell you about some of my fantastic new products, some of which will wash that smell of brimstone right out of your hair.
oh, do tell.
Wonderful. This will be quick.
That might come in handy.
Yeah. Once everything, the
What's the horse hooked to the
horses
wagon?
are hooked to the wagon, I'm going to gesture and open up a portal to purgatory directly.
Oh my.
Alright. And into purgatory.
Look at that, El
You're right.
Paso itself.
I always thought it looked more like the Sacramento Greyhound station.
See, it must be tailored to every individual, because I always thought it was Arizona.
Has many different names.
Yes, since I stopped making weapons for a living, I have subsumed myself in the botanical arts.
Ah.
Aromatherapy is my specialty now.
Oh,
Yes, I've created a lovely perfume from the seed of mustard. Unfortunately, it has a few side effects in that it will kill anyone that inhales it directly and burn the skin off of their face. But
an
So,
odor
still a work in
nonetheless.
progress.
trial and error, I tell you, trial and error. Now, what I was talking about for you is a lavender-scented soap that has been made with the charcoal from a campfire, so it mixes in just nicely with that horrid stench you two just seem to be pulling around with you like it belongs on you.
Yes, I've long since gone nose deaf to it myself.
No, I understand. I see it comes from this crazy hole we're riding into.
Yes,
Oh!
delightful accommodation.
The other side, the landscape is desolate. There are red skies without clouds above. No sun, no moon, just endless red skies. Dark
South
red sand and
Dakota.
rock around you, and an inescapable dry heat that seems to penetrate your very bones. And not just your avatars, you feel it yourselves. Jesse and Doc seem oblivious to the feeling. Either that or they're just used to it. It's kind of hard to say.
Now, how can it be so hot and I'm not sweating? I don't like this at all.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it.
No, I do not believe I will. This is not the type of thing that a gentleman should be getting used to.
No, it is exceedingly uncomfortable, particularly for the two of you.
I will pull out my Gatling Roomerator, which is a fan, essentially, with a rotating barrel. It's not going to do anything except blow on us, but, you know, I seem to think it helps.
It circulates.
It's like a hair dryer.
It circulates in there.
That is actually exceedingly worse.
I am coming to realize that now. But you know, in areas where we're not technically actually in hell, I think it circulates the air very nicely. Inside a room, it's divine.
I do not doubt you at your word. However, please turn that off.
You're right. You're right. You know, maybe if I put some ice behind the fan, it would blow colder air. And some of that perfume I made.
No.
You ride across this barren landscape for what seems to be hours. Time is rather strange here. And slowly the landscape changes into a canyon maze of dark red rock. Right just before it, there's a river seemingly made of blood that the horses ford and ride through.
And here
And
we
here-
are without a boat.
And here you have the inescapable feeling that you're being watched.
I see you.
You don't see it.
I see them.
How many are?
Can I make a notice check?
I haven't done the whole
Well,
area.
you cannot be surprised and have heightened awareness. So you are very aware that there are numerous, let's call them entities that dwell in purgatory, and the presence of living, breathing flesh is quite the draw to the residents here. It's quite the intoxicant. I mean, even just a simple bite of flesh or blood from the living is a release of pain for hours for these tortured souls.
Do you mention that?
So, just so you know, we will want to pick up the pace. The natives are rather too friendly.
In what way?
Just want to give you a big old kiss and a nip.
When you say a nip, do you mean a drink of a fine whiskey?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Do you mean a small bite in your flesh that they will continue until
That-
they have taken many?
You have the right of it, sir.
Ah, very well. Well, I have been to Idaho, sir, and so I know what we are in for.
Have
They're a bitey people. Don't let anyone tell you any different.
if these floating souls see the evil within these two, anything that bad that they have done wrong, would it protect them a little bit, like make them less noticeable?
Not particularly. In
I
fact,
am an angel.
if you'll notice, you can in fact see people's sins.
Right, which is why I would want to notice that, so if it deterred the souls from purgatory souls, that they could be protected a little bit.
Both of them possess the same sin,
Yes.
pride.
That's a good one. You got a good one. So do you.
Yours
I don't
is-
know why I didn't see that earlier.
Yours is very nice as well, although I did not think it was polite to say so.
So you are saying that the sight of flesh is intoxicating for them? Is
Yeah.
They hunger for the flesh of the living, darling.
I would like to go bare-breasted to show I am not afraid.
That would be
No.
very sinful. I'm all about it.
It is not simple. I have fought alongside Teddy Roosevelt bare-breasted many a time.
Oh, no. I mean, the fact that you are just so, your pride is just, is saturated in the space.
It is not pride when it is the truth. I don't.
Once again, please just keep going. Keep it coming.
pride is showing.
Both of them.
I would like to. Damn it, Maggie, you beat me to it. No, Annie was bare-breasted.
And then apparently is.
Yeah. And I want to be, I'm standing on this wagon or whatever it is. I'm here.
And I'm just really
And I'm looking
close-
away pointedly because I'm a gentleman.
And I'm really close to both of them just to make sure that
Just let me know when they're covered so I can cover you again.
when they come to
I feel
nip
like-
the tip, so to speak.
No.
I won't go for too long. It was just more of a show of like, haha, I am not afraid.
It's at this moment these lost souls commence their attack. Now, two of you cannot be surprised and therefore act in the surprise round.
Dear Lord, please do not bear your Chester regions in the regions of hell. Hashtag personality 1 to pilot for Rosie.
You had that coming.
These
That was
four
awesome.
unfortunate souls.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a preemptive round that's a surprise
Okay.
before we add these two in because the two of you can't be surprised.
These two?
These
Yes.
two.
Those two.
These two
Yep.
can't be surprised.
Ah!
I'm gonna be surprised.
So I'll need an initiative
So
from you and
exciting.
from Doc as well.
With your 12s.
My lost souls have a 15.
21.
19.
Oh, what?
19 for-
No, 21.
I'll take your 21, but it won't apply until after the surprise round. And if I could get one from you for after after the surprise round as well.
Dear Lord.
I know, I think it's my packs. I gave her as long as I could. Like, I just want someone not to bid and be like, no, go back.
Oh, it's actually his initiative bonus, not his. Because I'm over on this side. So, I'm not doing math right. 17.
17, all right. All right. So we are going to have Annie Oakley / Rosie going first as these lost souls begin to sort of come out of the terrain around you.
So-
Ghostly spirits,
Are-
sort of
like-
disembodied. And there are all these various forms of marauders or bandits from a plethora of time periods, from cutlass-wielding pirates to highwaymen from the 17th century to 1860s outlaws and rebels that didn't give up the uniform. And basically every form of outlaw from every era of history.
Are they floating towards us?
Yes,
Are they
they're like
walking?
disembodied spirits coming out of the very canyon walls and ground itself.
They're just
Then the upper bodies are very resemblant of what they were in life, but all of them bear the signs of whatever horrible injury did them in. Still bullet holes in the head, their sword wounds or arrows, and they look rather atrocious and in pain, as the two of you well know the residents of Purgatory happen to often look.
Yes. Once
All
again,
right.
you'll get used to it.
I assume we have a lasso or a rope of some kind on this fine.
You
wagon.
always have a lasso.
Great. Excellent. I would like to, we've got our two horses in front, right? And I said,
Yes.
sitting shotgun with, or at least close enough. I would like to take my lasso. I'm going to put it in the flames of the horses so that it lights on fire, and then
Okay.
I'm going to lasso one of them.
All right, give me a cowgirl stuff roll.
Cowgirl stuff, and I am in the middle on 12s.
Yes, but you
That's
happen to
There's
be
two metal
really,
points.
I know.
really good at cowgirl
I
stuff.
know. I'm gonna risk it. I'm taking the risk.
And you could use your buff if you wanted to also.
I'm rolling the 12s. I'm rolling the 12s.
Okay.
Doing it. Worked out. I only got a 6.
6. Oh, that is a critical success. You light this lasso on fire, and it's
Yeah.
not a normal flame
Well,
that
that's what I was
burns upon it. And as you lasso this lost soul, it seems to have a dramatic and instantaneous effect, and it lets this horrid scream out before burning away into this thick, inky green smoke. completely destroyed.
I suggest you leave us alone, or that will become the fate of all of you. As you can see,
There are only about 99 of them left.
I took out the first one, though. I want to point that out. I took out the first.
If you say so, I'm
Let it be known.
surprised.
Unless surprised,
Doc makes a single attack at the start of any combat before initiative is rolled. We skipped that. Oh no. Better do that now.
cool.
And what's that ability called?
Greedo's Huckleberry. Which is just delightful.
It is.
Okay.
I'm going to use my buff and move over to one away from Avatar.
All right, one away from Avatar.
First, I will take a shot with my Colt single-action revolver, firing some hellfire.
Is that the using the Greedo's Huckleberry?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, you'll make a single attack. So this technically happened before initiative was rolled. I just happened to skip you on it. But hey, with a roll like that, it really just didn't happen before
Nope.
initiative was rolled. That's an absolute critical failure. You didn't even draw your pistol.
You were like, hey. Oh, shit.
Forgive me,
That's a
I
thing.
forgot. Well, that's what happens.
However,
I
it
was
is
still,
your actual count on initiative now to do your real action.
That's what
Because-
happens. I was still Wyatt at that point.
Ah,
Wyatt
see.
owned no pistols. I will pull out my Hellfire Lasso, and seeing how successful that was, I'm not going to try and actually lasso any of them. I'm going to try and use it as a whip to hit as many of them as possible with it.
Your Hellfire Lasso?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, right. You use your Hellfire, which is composed entirely of Hellfire.
Oh, that's handy. That's why they call it that then.
Indeed.
Well, as is mine.
Well, it's currently on Hellfire rather than made of.
Hellfire.
And going fast.
Look at that. He stole your idea, Annie.
See?
Well, inspiration.
Ooh,
That is not going
that
to
is
work
not
either.
a particularly... You do get quite the lash going, but seeing the effects of what just happened to the other one, the other souls are just a little quick to move out of the way and not get annihilated by
Use
said
your wrist
attack.
more. You'll do much better.
Thank you for the tip.
And the Lost Souls rush on, attacking only Annie Oakley and Richard Gatlin.
Oh, now that doesn't seem fair at all.
Yes. I think it's because we're not dead.
It is in fact because you're not dead. And a rush of just dozens of them swarming at you. One of them manages to get past your defenses and clamp its spiritual jaws into your flesh, doing 30 health of damage to you.
Oh, I have no armor.
As it bites you and
Use your
draws
hit
this
points, though.
chunk of flesh away, it becomes significantly more substantial and sort of just plops to the or the side of the wagon next to you, and eyes rolled up into its head, just completely oblivious to life and the happiest look of contentment on its face. This mouthful of flesh.
I've always said that's a terrible incentive to try and reform these souls.
One of them also manages to get through your defenses, 30 health of damage, and it has the same reaction. And as these two are laying there with these chunks of the flesh in their mouth, the ones that were around them spend less time trying to attack and claw at you and are going for the little bits that are poking out of the side of its mouth and going for any bits of the blood or flesh that they can get their hands on.
Okay.
In our next round of Not Surprise, both Annie Oakley and Jesse James have a 21 for initiative, and I think this is absolutely great. And I want to
We have the
continue
same
this rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I want to continue
You-
this rivalry.
You did not roll better than me. I just want to point that out.
But I
We
did go
rolled
first.
The same. Okay, well, let's not nitpick.
But I also didn't get surprised.
I hope this is a symbol of our future relationship in our camaraderie in defeating these hellions trying to, eat you. That sometimes.
Well, let's see how successful you are.
Okay, once again, I'm
Both have a
trying.
21, and it is on both of you. It is determining which one of you will be going first among the two of you.
We determine?
You're going to have to determine it. I'm not going to do that for you, but I want to incentivize this rivalry and make you even more competitive
Oh,
towards each other.
I have laid the groundwork. Please feel free Go ahead.
To go ahead,
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
act upon the word. Oh. Now, wait, I'm going to pause for a moment because I feel like this is a trick and she is on
Oh, there's
my
nothing
team.
tricky about Miss Annie Oakley.
With a smile like that, how could there be? Alrighty, well, we have a bitten friend, one down, and question about my Hellfire Lasso, it's different than his.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Made purely of hellfire.
Made the same, but acts differently.
Your
says
effects are
does
about the
not-
living. Your effects are in regards to the living.
'Cause it says
these
does-
are not the living.
Got it. Understood.
You've never, until this moment, had to do anything like this, and the lost souls here don't trouble the two of you ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you never knew what happened when hellfire hit lost souls before. It never really even occurred to you. It just wasn't a thought in your mind. But after seeing it, you are now fully aware of what this does to them.
How fast would it be to unhitch my horse from the wagon?
It would take your action for the round.
Okay. Well then, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take the lasso, and I'm guessing, are they coming in from all sides?
All sides and underneath, you know, they're very ghost-like.
And underneath.
Very
Because
ghost-like.
they're just floating around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, where's the closest ones? Like, how many are
All
really
around you. There is a
all
swarm of them
running.
there swarming the entirety of this wagon.
Oh, wonderful.
Like
well,
locusts.
Alrighty. Well, then I am going to. Where's my? Oh man, that would take a turn. Never mind. Because they aren't living flesh, does the Hellfire rifle?
It would
differently?
probably have a similar effect as that hellfire did on the.
Well,
one.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna take my Hellfire rifle, and I'm gonna try and aim at one of the souls where there's like perhaps a row behind them, like multiple in the group,
So you're going to line up multiple
and
in
I'm
the
gonna
shot.
try and just see how many bodies I can get with
All
the
right,
rifle.
give me a shooting test.
Oh man.
And you ignore the called shot penalty for making this called shot. As that is one of Jesse James's capabilities.
Well, good, because that was 3 on 16.
And that is a critical success. Normally, I would say that you would have hit 6 of them in a line, but because that's a critical success, you in fact hit 12 in a continuous line with 1 shot. Yes! Completely obliterating them in little clouds of this green ink smoke as the hellfire travels through them.
And then I'm gonna take the rifle up and go right in front of your face.
Good.
Pax has an idea.
Oh.
Hashtag hack attack.
Oh. Pax
Oh, it's a Pax attack.
Tax attack.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I assume that their Hellfire rifles require ammunition.
You don't know. She didn't seem to load it.
Do I see any ammunition
Not
on their
any.
horses, on their no, nothing?
None at all.
Cool. So if you're gonna blow it in my face, that is one mighty fine rifle. But you know, would you mind if I tried your rifle? Then it's fair. We're using the same weapon.
You know what? I like that idea. Here you go, sister.
Excellent. I would. So I've now taken your rifle. Yes. And
You can give it back.
I
We're gonna
want.
need another Hellfire rifle.
I do want to examine it real quick. Is there any ammo?
No.
No, there's no ammo.
None. You don't even know why she bothered to work the lever, firing it.
Mm.
I killed him with my mind bullets.
All right.
With each sin.
I would like to do some trick shooting.
Cool, because I want to
Oh
see if you
my.
can actually fire my rifle.
Trick
Yeah.
shooting. Excellent.
See
Give me
that?
a shooting test.
And I do have. I'm going to use my.
I hope you don't get hurt.
Ooh, I'm going to
Fire
use
my
the
rifle.
moment of clarity.
I love
So
this
I can roll
competitiveness.
8. Okay.
Okay.
I'm also using my buff.
We're only going to see this side.
Oh,
of the
well,
table.
can you use two
Yes.
things?
Yes.
Using a moment of clarity and your buff.
And my buff, so that is an 8. Maybe get a 3.
I rarely have any ideas at all.
That's so not
I
true.
have no idea what you mean. Hashtag hack attack.
You have so many ideas.
She was speaking sarcastically.
Yes.
You just can't tell because you're dumb.
And that immediately went harsher than I
I got
So
a
that's
3.
a 3 on a, what is that shooting skill you have?
18, so I beat it by 15.
You beat
Good lord.
slightly higher success rate than Jesse James, and 14 of these things go down. But because of trick shot at the very end, after going through 14, somehow, impossibly, this hellfire bullet ricochets and hits another one, making it 15.
And then I go,
I like her. She's fast.
Now, am I correct in understanding that the horses themselves are,
Hitched to the wagon.
yes, but also are ringed in hellfire?
Correct. They are ringed in hellfire.
Stampede.
Yes, I would like to try and run over as many of these souls as I can
Nice.
with these horses.
Excellent. Give me a riding and roping check.
oh, much better.
Much better. I'm gonna burn it because I'm
Using
sick,
the
of,
plus
I'm sick
3.
of losing everything.
So that is a success by 2, and you immediately charge into the fray. And several of them are able to move out of the way, but 4 of them are completely obliterated in the Irish. And once again, the wagon is moving. So now it is a running chase as we go to Professor Trigally.
All right, now I've seen her catch her rope on fire, which caught everything on fire when she hit people with it. Has a rope of fire. I made my educated man roll by 7. Is there a lot of sulfur in the air? Is that why?
Tremendous amount of sulfur in the air.
All right. Well, I have figured out exactly what my plan. And once again, firearms will not win the day. It will be science. The science of irrigation. Now, you may have noticed my beautiful Gatling fan that I've been using. Now, if I turn that up very, very high, anything I put in the back of that fan aerates itself. I'm going to attempt water. Because, a little bit of hydrogen and a little bit of oxygen and a little bit of sulfur, wow, that makes a nice mist of sulfuric acid.
In fact, does make
And I'm going to melt me some of these
That's awesome.
So I'm
Science.
attempting to basically, grab one of my vials of, holy water and just throw it at the back of that fan as hard as I can.
Whoa, wait, what do you have?
We'll get there.
What? When I see he picks up something, I'm
Oh,
ducking
you
for
don't have a
cover.
chance. I'm sorry, my
Oh wait.
I'm gonna desperately duck for cover.
Do we
Dear
have any?
God.
Do we have any moments of clarity?
No,
we
there
are
are meta
currently
points
out.
though.
That's okay. That's okay. I think I can do this. Oh yeah, I did it exactly. So I made my druidic power roll
Excellent.
to make this all legit.
Terrific powers.
Yeah.
I
that's
know. Well, where
weird.
could those have possibly come from? That doesn't make any sense
it
at all.
doesn't.
And then I'm gonna shoot at the lot of them using the special attack I just created. I rolled a 4. I needed a 16 or less.
Again,
So I beat
critical
it by
success. In a massive cloud, this holy water mixes in, it spreads out, and it hits everyone, including the both of you. So 30 damage to the both of you, but because you're vulnerable, it's 60 damage to the both of you. However, keep in mind you do have an armor score that does apply.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So make sure you use your armor score and subtract that. Oh boy.
There's
Oh.
Leo.
Oh no.
Wait,
no,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no.
What did you say the damage?
The total was
is?
60
60, but
damage.
you have
60
armor.
damage. Got it. So it's just 30 for me.
Cool. And you have your also from.
Right. Oh,
But
yeah.
as they scatter and in the chase, more than 30 are dissolved or
Damn.
dissolve to the point where they break off pursuit or go back into their little rocks
Yeah.
and in their little hidey holes. And on top of that, at least another dozen are still back where the two got successful bites,
Yeah.
trying to like claw little bits out of their mouth.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
they're fighting over it like rats
Yeah.
over a piece of cheese. It's terrifying
Gross.
to watch. Which means that there are only 24 still in pursuit that are actually going to make attacks on you. And because it requires 10 of them to make a single attack on an individual, I will only be making one attack each on
Okay.
Miss Oakley and Mr. Gatling. And I do have a success on Miss Oakley.
Okay,
For
all right.
another 30, they are
30.
able to bite you. However, that does pull another 12 off as they are fighting over that piece of flesh that
Yeah.
they just pulled out of you.
In my educated opinion, that is deeply icky.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Brings us to our 221s at the very top.
Pardon my splash. I hope everyone's all right. I said I was sorry. I didn't even think about that before I did it.
Regular water next time, please.
You went first
Well,
last
before
time.
you decide what
Oh.
you do, because this is great to start the round with,
Oh, great.
Oh, okay.
as these things are in pursuit of you, and more seem to be coming from like the hillsides and
Hashtag clarity because no one is dumb. Except maybe Tom because he wants to destroy everything and doesn't get why that's a bad thing.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
But as that more and more of them seem to be drawn by the scent of blood, this ghostly train pulls up beside and stops a lovely cleared freight car, just perfectly sized for a wagon, ready for transport. Besides,
After that cloud, we could use some hashtag clarity.
Nice.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
and the ghost crew aboard quickly loads the wagon and horses, and the ghost train begins setting off across purgatory.
Oh,
Thank you, chat.
Yes,
Thank
As
you.
it's going, since I did leave that kind of puddle of bad guys,
Yes,
I am going to seed that pile before we leave.
a seated pile.
It could be it's going to have some nice undead apple trees growing there real soon.
Yes.
Apple trees in hell.
we can we
Necro
like
apples
put,
for all
can we
my
like put our
friends.
through the train? Can we like put our hands?
The apples
Oh,
of
yeah.
death!
But somehow we're also
Somehow
being-
you are also being supported and held by it, but at the same time, yeah, you can reach right through it. Even to the point where, to test it, you reach down between your, and you
Yeah.
can stick your hand right between the floor that is holding you up.
Oh, that's cool. I
It's
like
somehow
this
it's
train.
I
keeping
shall
you
try and get an
supported.
aperitif from the ghost dining car.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
It is a rather opulent dining car, but all of the ghostly features are ghostly. And no matter what you do, you can't seem to get a bite or a drink. It's almost as if you're in hell.
Now, I have to believe that I would
Apples?
know how to drink some ghost whiskey. I just have to believe.
I also have some fresh pressed cider.
Ooh, that sounds delightful. Can I take some fire and etch my initials in the ghost train?
You kind of just move through the air as it
damn.
is.
I wanted to mark it.
And it's back to ours. And there is another passenger on this ghost train in the dining car, sitting
Ooh.
at one of the well-appointed tables. The only non-ghostly individual here.
South Park State.
To you,
Hey,
you
guys.
see Wyatt. It looks
What
like
are you
Wyatt
doing
Earp
here?
sitting
That's
at
so
that
weird.
table. Doc's old friend. It very much looks like Wyatt Earp, but you see Johnny.
Johnny?
Just sitting at that same table. Frank is sitting at the table in this dining car. Jess's brother, Frank.
Frank.
Frank's sitting right there. It's King Teddy himself
Bully!
sitting in the dining car.
Well, this
Are
is
they
good.
all sitting together?
No, all of you see something different.
Oh.
Well, your Majesty, it is a pleasure to see you again.
Wyatt.
Why are you calling him your majesty?
He is King Teddy. Have you forgotten?
That is not King
That
Ted.
pantsless little cherub is not King Teddy.
Oh, I'm sorry, he has his pants.
Thank God. I have 3 pair. I have 2 pair on. Damn
Excuse me, all.
I have to go get pants.
That there is my friend, Wyatt Earp.
No, you are mistaken, sir. That there is King
Frank.
Teddy.
Hold on.
As someone with clearly the best eyesight out of the group,
Oh my
I
God.
think I can. Maybe y'all need to go visit your local doctor.
May I suggest an alternate hypothesis?
You may.
We are in purgatory. Something is messing with us.
No. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, no. No, it
Aren't you
does.
forgetting something, Doc?
Can I see any of
No.
the sins coming off him?
No, but there's only one.
I can prove that it is Teddy. Your Majesty, where is your bison?
No.
Taft is in the car behind us.
Excellent. I would like to go get Taft.
What's going on?
You head towards the car that he pointed at.
I think we've pissed off Balls.
Oh shit.
Aren't you forgetting something, Jesse? Frank says to you.
Sorry. Oh great. What do we need to go back now?
These two aren't on the list.
No, this is actually a separate project. We will resume our appointed harvesting as soon as possible. Just have to take care of one little bit of thing.
No one passes through for free.
They didn't, obviously. If you look at his shoulder blade, they both have donated to the cause.
They have both them.
They have both donated to the cause. You cannot
I'm
say
feeling
that-
magnanimous today,
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Holiday.
who are you arguing with and about what?
I just...
If you give me another 100 years on your contract, I'll let it slide.
Now, hold on. Who are you talking to? Because it looks like you're talking to my friend who you should not be having such an intelligent conversation with.
No. This is actually the man who fell.
That's the devil.
Yeah.
Wow, Mr. Satan, I have been waiting some time to meet you.
No,
It is very rude for you to be in the body of one Mr. King Teddy.
God.
Wait, I don't.
You merely perceive me in the form of your choosing.
And I chose Jonathan Appleseed. Really?
You chose Jonathan? Does he have pain?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really glad I chose King Teddy.
Second to last joke that man ever played on me.
100 years, or I keep them.
Can I... Is this for both of us?
he
or
wants
just
to.
for
Does he
him?
want to keep us in hell?
That is what he has suggested, yes.
After seeing the havoc that we just wrought, after being here 5 minutes, he wants to keep us longer here. But we're not dead. You understand that, right?
It would be quite a delightful game to watch.
I could wreak a lot of havoc on this place.
I know.
According to tales, I already have killed the devil, so maybe we should give it a shot.
That wasn't you.
Okay,
Or was it?
But what if it was?
You know I'm busy, Doc. 100 years, or I'm taking them with me.
But we're not
Those are
going.
the terms.
Not going.
Dr. Holliday, we are not your responsibility. Now you go back and you get that Heath fella right now. And your job's done anyway. We're just passing through, Mr. Devil. And you're gonna let us.
oh dear God.
Well, I got a few more other than just Heath to account for, but your point stands.
You go fetch Heath. I'll forget this happened.
Well, you don't have to forget. Just remind us at a later date.
Oh, I will. You can count on it.
I always felt sorry for that bastard. Like real sorry. Like he couldn't get over his own damn self long enough not just to ask 2 damn questions. And here he is doing this shit job. It's sad, really.
Not the best of plays, no.
I mean, to be known as the Prince of Lies and... so sad.
If it's possible for me to
And no
nip
style.
out as they're continuing,
You will have to meet up with them, but it is possible.
yeah, I will go ahead and do that then.
Getting back takes a little bit of time, but getting to them, you will simply be able to open a gate into purgatory to
Yeah.
wherever they happen to be when you return.
Yep.
So it's several hours of riding, or you think is several hours. But for you, ends up being several days to track him down.
Yep.
As he ran far from Bannock. You finally caught up to him.
Hell, I would.
He was on one of those extended 25-year contracts. He got out of getting himself hung 25 years ago when he was running with the plumber gang, who was the former sheriff of the area, who used his badge to rob individuals on the road and then suppress the reports of the robbery. When people found out, they were all scheduled to be executed, but Mr. Heath made a deal so that he wouldn't die that night.
The plumber gang just makes me think of like all of them on horses with like plungers behind them, just like riding.
Even though there aren't any toilets.
Yeah.
Hey, give Mac the monkey wrench.
But like the horse hooves also sound like
Yeah,
that plunger
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And you fetch him and bring him down to purgatory and deliver him, eventually meeting back up on board this moving ghost train, which is still cutting across purgatory at a nice, even keel speed, keeping anything distant or at bay somehow through some form of power that just
It's quite comfortable, this train.
Taking a train through hell is not the weirdest thing I've ever done. That just occurred to me.
There is a vast difference between these ghosts or spirits than there are between the ones that were hounding you in the canyon. They are most certainly very different and most certainly not natural denizens of this place.
I bring you a message of peace. I just do that wherever I go now.
Peace of my mind.
And eventually the train comes to a stop at where you know one of the only South American portals happens to be. You do also know that this portal tends to be heavily guarded because of what is on the other side.
Words up. We're coming to our exit. There may be some resistance.
Well, at least I didn't show up for nothing. What are we facing? Outlaws? Bandits?
Of the
Highwaymen? Rebels?
yes, of the
Hondurans?
probably more of the same, just more organized, I would expect, rather than just individual souls looking for a bite.
You know what I like about armies that line up? Well, they line up.
Yeah, all right in a row.
You familiar with the concept of a door gunner, Mr. Holliday?
I believe I am.
That's what game we are going to play today.
That's a game I would love to play.
This portal comes into sight, and you cannot mistake it for what it is. It looks like a portal floating in the middle of hell.
That's exactly what that's supposed to look like. That's how I pictured it.
And seemingly guarding it,
Truth in advertising.
a creature you could only call a demon, about 9 feet in height, with a vulture-like head on a humanoid-esque body.
Oh, that's awful.
I
It's
do
rather
believe we saw that in a
disgusting
Jim
looking.
Henson movie.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just imagine it's Gatsby. That's interesting.
Mayor Skeksis of apparently Mobile, Alabama.
Similar, 9 feet tall with a very big wingspan and like pussy wounds all over it.
Oh,
Mmm.
gross. How's it wounds?
And the skin is covered in thorns.
Ugh. Thorns.
No, I don't
Ugly
like it.
yellow eyes fixed upon you as you get closer and closer. What is your door gunner plan that you're talking about there, Mr. Gatlin?
Well, I mean, if he's there to guard he might just let us through if we have the right kind of currency, right? I mean, how does this work? Does he want to fight or not?
I imagine he's going to want to fight. They are quite keen on keeping folks out of this particular area of South America.
Why?
Well,
Demon summoners.
Yeah. Some of the locals are particularly aggressive demon summoners, causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, like summoning demons.
Demons, exactly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I mean, the problem you'd expect.
All right.
Well, luckily, none of us summon demons, so we'll just explain to the creature that we will not be summoning demons.
It's worth an attempt, but I don't think they would take that on faith.
Well, we'll figure it out one
Say-
way or another.
You were the master of, with a gift of gab. If anyone can get us out of the situation, it's you.
I agree. The only one who would be better at it would be you, by your own telling.
Oh, that is true. I just like it when you say it.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you go up and talk to him then?
All right. I will approach.
All right, you approach.
It's best we just let this happen.
Bloodshot eyes regard you dispassionately as you get closer and closer. You're distinctly looking up at the towering creature.
Excuse me. My friends and I are not supposed to be here. We would like to be there.
I love that you've adopted that accent as part of your character.
Which one?
The one you're using now.
Oh. I thought I always did it.
No. To both.
Well, why not?
Closed.
Oh, it's closed. Fun story. Mr. Satan himself, now I'm just thinking about what I sound like and I'm going to go bonkers. Himself doesn't want us here, so I suggest you follow your Lord and Master's rules and you let us pass.
No.
Oh, yes.
While she tries to talk, we're like a little bit behind, correct?
Oh, yeah.
You went up ahead, so I'm gonna mosey over, stand right next to you, and say, you know, the big boss man said that we had gotten the wrong ones. If we just tell him that this is a direct order from the big man himself, do you think that he's not following our orders, he's following the other ones? We are the henchmen. This guy gotta know who we are. And then I whisper in his ear, and I would really like to beat her on this one.
You see why I didn't intervene? You gotta let them play their game.
I will back your play.
Okay, so you're gonna walk up with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
I think this is really good for Annie.
I'm just gonna keep saying yes to the creature. Yes.
He has stopped paying attention. Well,
Hello?
stopped talking to you. Every once in a while, that one of those bloodshot eyes kind of peeks down at you. It's kind of unnerving that it can look down at you while the other one continues to look straight ahead.
Don't you think that being in purgatory, there's probably a sense of a different language or communication ability just with the undead that we have ourselves that maybe living flesh doesn't have?
You might think so, but as a result of your contract, you've never really interacted with the beings down here. You go and fetch people
our
on the
job,
surface
come back.
and bring them back.
But they know who we are, that we are
You
the
would
henchmen.
assume.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you popped up in purgatory dragging someone on the end of a flaming lasso. So
Right.
one might think
Right.
that you're known.
Right.
But it's not like you've asked around to find out either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been doing this for how long again? Because he's speaking. That's exactly kind of what I'm getting at. Is like, Can I go up there and do this like whole undead like just screaming moans of like the undead? That's a certain communication skill that
You don't know of any particular special one that they use beyond
that we
speaking.
use beyond regular speaking.
Yeah, you've never done anything like that.
Okay, well then we're gonna approach the
Okay.
big Jim Henson man bird, and I'm just, good sir, the big man himself told us that we have to leave, and this was the nearest exit. We are on an assignment to bring down this whole list of newly departed that are to report down here right away. So if you don't let us go, you're
Gates
not.
closed.
You know, I have some salve that might clear those sores right up. In fact, it's guaranteed. Or your money back.
I listen to the man. He's always done solid by me.
I'm sorry, have you not heard of Professor Richard Gatlin's miracle salve?
No.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel pain on your inner, outer, and lower extremities? Is your
Yes.
life a constant state of physical agony? Do you
Yes.
have trouble getting up in the morning or even knowing what the morning is because of your location?
Yes.
Why, I might just have the product for you. That's right. Professor Gatling's Miracle Tonic and Salve. Just one sip of this every morning right before you start guarding the black gates of hell. And a little bit of this to rub over all those terrible sores that you have. See how easy that is? Look at that. Now here, this is a common poison ivy. Now as you can see, it leaves a red mark almost as soon as I have laid it down. The irritation is already starting. The skin begins to bubble and inflame. But with just a little bit of Professor Gatling's miracle salve, boom, the skin begins to whiten or darken immediately, depending on what your natural pigmentation is, you understand?
My word, I would pay upwards of $50 for such a marvelous
$50.
product.
Well, that would be certainly if I was going to be selling it to all of the general rebel. But this is for everybody, so this isn't just for kings and queens. No, this is for men and women of all walks of life, demons and ghouls from every corner of hell.
I don't have any money.
That is all right, sir. It appears that you have something we need, and we have something that you need. See, we only require passage to the other side of that gate, which we will be returning from directly. So it doesn't matter if you let us through or not, since we'll be coming right back either way. Now, in exchange for, let's see, it's going to take at least 6 bottles of this, I think, to cover that gigantic and magnificent demonic body you've got. Well, I'd be willing to part with, I'd say a bottle for each of our passage. So that's 4 bottles right there. And then, of course, my wagon, which is going to be a bottle in and of itself, which will make 5 bottles. Now, you would only need 1 more bottle in order to cover your entire body and get rid of those horrid sores that must be causing you so much discomfort. And I'm sure we could find a way to... There's got to be something around here worth 1 more bottle. Oh,
Think of the relief, man. Think of the relief.
I just want to help you out. I just hope there's a way that I can do that.
I got a half-eaten head.
A half-eaten head, you say? Now, I don't personally have much use for a half-eaten head, but whose head was it?
I don't know.
I tell you what. Now, I may not need a head, but I am a man who has a heart. Demonic as it may be, because clearly I'm a demon just like the rest of y'all here. Nothing wrong with me, nor different about me in any way. In fact, I don't stick out like a sore thumb at all. Tell you what, I will take that half-eaten human head. Oh, look at that.
That's a good half.
I think this was at one point Caucasian or something. Hmm? Well, I'm sure it's good stock, whatever it is. I'm going to put it over here in my bag. I'm going to hand you 1 more bottle of this. Okay? Now you have enough to cover your entire body, head to horn, my friend.
Thanks.
You are very welcome. Now, would you like a carrying case for that and perhaps a little gift bag? Are you going to be sharing that with anybody? I wouldn't be if I were you. But you know what? If you got a wife at home, why don't you take a little something home for her? Now, this is a special perfume that I designed with a lavender oil and a bit of mustard seed oil. Just a little bit on the areas over the arteries, and it will just warm it up and give it such a nice aroma. You will not be able to resist, and she will not be able to resist you. You know what I'm saying, my man? All right. So here is that for you. That's for the missus. Now, we're going to be moving on our way, but hey, if you need anything else when we come back through here, you just ask for Professor Gatling, and we will be happy to give you anything you need. What's your name, son? What's your name?
Bill!
Bill, that is a fine beak you have, Bill. Is that a beak or is it a bill, Bill?
I don't know.
Doesn't really matter. It's sharp on the end. I'm calling it a beak. Looks like it could pierce right through a man, Bill.
But either way,
It has a few times.
Well, that is a fantastic. You can rub a little bit of that oil on that beak there, keep it nice and sharp when you rub it up against rocks, and it gives it a nice odor as well. Something that's pleasing to the other demons, you understand?
Thanks, Professor.
Hey, the professor is here to help.
Let me go put some of this on. And he walks away from the
Yes! Yes! See? I knew if I just kept on him. Yes. Work.
See, not all of our problems have to be solved with violence.
Right, I was negotiating.
Sometimes you just need to give a man, a body, what they need. How about anybody else? You feeling itchy anywhere? Because I can take care of that almost immediately. Portal to Earth, anyone?
let's share.
You exit the portal
You're
into a
welcome.
blisteringly hot jungle. The humidity is a strict departure from the
I was
environment
gonna
you
say, heat's
exist in.
one thing, humidity is
It
quite
is
another. I am
immediately
uncomfortable.
oppressive.
I do not like this.
You're at the base of some massive ancient temple to some forgotten god. It's highly overgrown. There's a smell of death and decay everywhere. Putrid, sickly, sweet. All blended together with the smells of the jungle and the forest and flowers. There's vines and thorns and plants of all types and so much more, but not a single bird, crawling insect. The silence is deafening.
Turn a phrase I've always liked.
You can sense the
It's definite.
Joe's Diner location is much, much closer.
Oh yeah, we're almost there. I mean, comparatively. Now it's that way.
By all means, let us that way.
Is this the little man telling you this?
The little man is telling me this. Also, the gifts that I have received from a certain departed friend give me a regular sense of direction that I would call, and not to be braggadocious about it, but unerring.
I have a lot of questions, but I will get answers to those.
Well,
later.
I'm happy to answer any questions you have. As you probably have realized by now, I like very much to hear my own voice.
Who is this departed friend of yours?
Ah, that would be Mr. Jonathan Appleseed.
Oh, the
Him
fellow
with
that
the
you
vanishing
was,
pants.
Yes, it's retired to parts unknown, you see.
and he could tell you where Joe's Diner is.
Well, he can tell you what just about anything is. He has what I called an unerring sense of direction, which I have inherited.
Because he died.
No, he's just moved on to bigger and better things, he says.
In your head.
Wherever he went, I don't see him anymore, and now I have the same duties that he once had.
He said duties.
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like to take a moment and point out, I hope you all see why I paired these individuals up.
I would, noticing that there's no animal sounds
Not
whatsoever.
a single one. Not even a crawling bug.
Yeah, so I would like to fire a single shot into the air just to see if it makes any, like, animals who are hiding and get startled might rustle or something. Or is it just going to be the shot and dead silence?
It is the shot and dead silence. But because of the dead silence, that shot is really loud.
Alright, but so...
Good. Well, yeah, stealth isn't always the best approach, I agree. Whatever you were shooting at, I'm guessing you hit it, Annie.
Oh, that time I wasn't shooting at anything. I was hoping...
Well, you hit it.
I did.
Actually, most specifically, she wasn't shooting at anything, so that bullet will never hit anything. Ever.
Right.
That bullet will continue to travel indefinitely.
The moving bullet.
Just want to
Annie.
point that out.
Well,
Every time there's a breeze by you, it could be the bullet at you.
Not hitting you.
Can we?
Or anything else.
shot
Can't
into
we-
space, traveling off throughout the cosmos. now.
Can we recall the bullet like in Roger Rabbit? Just kind of like call out and tell him to move a different direction? Does that work? Is that how your thing works?
No, but she specifically
that's a
said
shame.
she wasn't aiming at anything, and Annie Oakley hits everything she aims at.
Nothing.
So specifically, she will hit nothing because she aimed at nothing.
Got it.
That's how that works.
Which means she missed.
Incorrect, sir. I hit my target dead on,
You didn't have a target, and so.
and I hit it.
But you didn't hit it, anything.
But that was
But that is true.
But that
and
was my
therefore she
target.
has missed.
incorrect. I didn't miss. I hit the target that wasn't there.
As they go, I kind of make sure that we still shuffle along this walk. Because I do like to hear this pitter-patter. Tit-tat.
I have not
Nothing
assumed that
passes the
you've
time
stopped.
better than semantic argument.
I have not assumed that you've stopped. I was just letting you revel in it.
Absolutely.
In fact, by all means, continue. It's rather entertaining.
Is there water in the air?
It is rather humid.
So there's water in the air, but no animal life.
Not a single bug. But
And-
the vegetation is in
And the vegetation.
amazing state. Like everything is
The
growing
vegetation.
remarkably well.
And it is flowering.
You know what I
Like
want to do?
too
I want
well?
to reach out and feel all living things.
You can feel a massive amount of plant life everywhere. Plant life, and there's so much like decay, and not in the bad way, but the feeding nature decay. There's plethora for all of the plant life to feed off of. It's like a
Feeding
smorgasbord for every
Yeah.
single.
So all the animals are dead.
Yeah, but don't,
Like, they
don't
were
feed the
animals
plants.
here,
Don't feed
and
the
they all
plants.
dead.
Whatever they offer you, don't feed the plants.
Okay.
I was gonna say, are there baby plants?
I'll
Are there
feel down into the soil and see if there's a lot decaying. Like, is it?
Oh, yeah, there
there's
seems
a,
to be,
There's a plethora of dead things.
Dead things. It seems to be a zone that you like hit about maybe 50, 60 feet down into the earth. Or beyond that, then you can start to feel the occasional worm or other thing again. But it seems as though the presence of this in this area has driven even those creatures that are that far beneath, far away from this zone of death.
Are you?
Oh,
did you-
well, we should probably avoid the zone of death.
I'm sorry, the zone of death.
Oh, yeah. All of this beautiful vegetation through here hides a very dark secret.
Doesn't it always?
Yeah, I don't know what the secret is, though. I'm sorry. I do know that anything that was alive in there is no longer alive in there, which is why we are not hearing any animal noises.
Can you feel how far this zone of death extends?
I mean, more or less.
Are we near the edge? Are we
Several hundred miles in every direction.
Ah,
I mean, we're smack dab right in the middle.
Yeah, very much in the middle. In fact, if you were to guess, comparing the two, your powers from Johnny and what the man in your head is telling you, the central location is well, there has got to be the same place. The center has got to be the center.
All right.
You said you had seeds
Oh, lots of them.
that grow apples.
Mm-hmm. Well, apple trees, which grow apples.
Are they expedited in any way? Are they like super growth?
You in
Yeah.
Real
fact
fast?
recognize the seed pouch 100%. You've seen that seed
Yeah.
pouch before.
Yeah.
That exact one. The last time you were in the body of Jesse James. The first time. Ages and ages ago. They showed up on Billy the Kid at random when you were adventuring all that
That's right.
time ago.
How fast those trees grow again?
Oh, reckon about as fast as I can make them grow. A minute or two?
A minute or two.
Sure. Only because I'm unfamiliar with the area. Otherwise, it'd just be a few seconds. But the soil here is very rich. It might not take long at all. There's lots of dead people and animals.
Yeah, but I'm wondering what that would do to the fruit.
Oh, the fruit would be delicious and healthy.
Would it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
would the apples try to eat you?
That's what I kind of want to see.
Guys,
What?
I don't know if you know this about me, but the magic apple tree does in fact have magic apples on it.
I do know that.
Yeah, but what if they're like Snow White apples.
Oh,
Or once you bite into it, then that.
But
will-
they're not. You see, no
Well,
matter
they're
where I
perfect.
grow them, they'll be delicious and nutritious and part of a very
Are
healthy person's
they
healthy diet.
Honey Crisp?
Is there another kind?
Okay, thank you very much. That was the correct answer.
Do I look like a gala, Professor, to you? Do I look like a Red Delicious? Do I appear to be
No,
a
but I
Granny
just want
Smith?
to make sure
No.
this is
I mean-
legit on my part. No, they would not be Honeycrisp at this point. The hybrid hasn't been invented yet.
Has now. Boom.
Let's
Yes!
see it. Yay! Change the course of history. I would like an apple.
That I can do.
See?
An orchard.
All right.
Oh, right, because you're Gatling.
Describe this process exactly, and this piece of machinery more specifically.
Specifically, I pull out my Gatling seed launcher, which all of you recognize as the Gatling gun.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It is a huge, rotating barreled monstrosity that literally fires seeds.
Yes.
Just like the original Gatling gun did.
And was intended to do. The original purpose.
Oh, really?
Yep. And he wasn't trying to create a weapon.
Oh.
It seems that Mr. Gatling has a problem that everything he creates, no matter how benign, turns out to be a weapon.
There you go.
It's my gift and my curse.
And in case of this, it is 100% the classic Gatling gun that you have put. And it fires seeds, and within less than a minute, you are
And then I
entirely
pull out the drink
surrounded
dispenser. Hose
by
it all down.
an
Trees
orchard
pop
of
up.
beautiful,
Full-grown trees.
full-grown, perfect, healthy, very happy apple trees.
How does
It is
the
a little
other-
bit warm and humid for an apple tree in this climate, but they are magical apple trees and have adapted nonetheless.
How did the other plant life react?
Well, it kind of pushed some of it out where
But
it
there's
grew in,
there's
but
no like vibe.
Whether we want to admit it or not, apples are an invasive species.
Right, I'm just wondering if the plants.
I have literally no idea how this will go, but I am so excited to find out and or buy any new Gatling products that come from it. Hashtag cool rule.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, that's right, your self-surgery.
The self-surgery kit. The Gatling self-surgery kit. It was.
that makes me cringe.
Yeah, it's
But
supposed to. It was
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
that is most certainly a weapon.
Yeah.
One does not survive that surgery.
No.
Well, if you use it properly, it'll sew you right up.
I
Make you
wanna-
good as
Yeah,
new.
there seems to be no like weirdness
Great.
about these apples.
The plants don't come to life and try
No.
to hit the apple trees.
And before I don't bite it in half, but I do take
How
an
would you
apple
like it
and
if
I
somebody
crack it
started
in
picking
half.
things
and
off of you?
Flesh looks
These
good.
beautiful, perfect
I'm gonna
apples.
put some apples in my bag.
I was gonna say, can I bite it? Does
Food.
it turn into applesauce?
Like anything else you've tried to eat or drink, it turns to ash in your mouth.
Tastes like shit. Just kidding, it's me.
I know, darling. I know. It's okay to be sad about it.
Well, I'm gonna eat some apples.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you gonna eat some?
We'll heal up, you know. Might as well heal up while we can.
Oh yeah, the apples heal.
Yeah.
Oh, your time in purgatory before you got out healed the two of you back up to full health.
Oh, lovely.
And I'll eat apples to heal. In fact, I'm gonna eat a whole tree of apples.
Oh man, you're gonna have this.
You're gonna get sick.
Yep. You get to
Well,
eat
No, I won't. You just watch. I bet I can eat more apples than all of you.
I can.
I'm not even gonna need to relieve myself back.
The,
Not at all.
The magical apples from the trees do take away all of your normal person injuries and
Yeah.
wounds as you consume
The
them.
green ones make you run faster.
And go ahead and
Technically, that's true.
roll two 12-sided dice against the body score of Annie Oakley as you overindulge on apples.
All right. I'm going to use a meta point.
The circle of life. The fertilization of my orchard begins.
Oh,
No.
and there's not too long after the
They are
orchard
magic
incident, she has to stop the wagon and disappears into the brush for some time.
Your movement speed is doubled.
Oh yeah, her movement speed is doubled. All right.
I didn't say what kind of movement.
It's going to be the fastest one you have seen.
Oh my god.
It is rather disturbing.
That's why I don't eat a lot of apples anymore. That's why I have the new Professor Gatling's portable cider press. Yes, sir. Have you ever been? You know what? This can wait till later.
Thank you. Frankly, it's just making me wish I could drink it. And
I know.
can't.
I just really we're just sitting here with our envy.
This is the first time you've really been exposed to it to such a degree. Usually the living individuals you're around are just kicking and screaming at the end of a rope as you drag them back to hell.
So,
Yes.
the
What was I,
orchard
let's
will
call it
provide
Tuesday?
succor for the evening so we can find a place to camp as Miss Oakley and I still need to rest as we are not denizens of hell.
Purgatory.
Fair enough.
Sure, friend. Sure. Having been there,
Just
I'm not
leave me
sure I
this
could
one.
tell the difference.
It is a distinct difference is that they most definitely have to rest. whereas
But
the
we
two of
have
you do not.
Yeah.
baked apples and some apple cider. And I'll tell you how good they all taste since you are unable to eat them, what with being damned. We can tell each other stories around the
I was
fire.
gonna say, can we replicate that scene when Nicolas Cage describes biting into a peach?
I could eat a peach for hours. Sorry, I meant to sound creepier when I said it, Nicolas Cage style. I
No
could eat
more-
a peach for hours.
No more drugs for that man.
What's it feel like?
It's, crunchy.
Oh, crunchy. I remember crunchy. Do you remember crunchy?
Not so much. I more remember a different, delightful burning in my throat.
No, you miss whiskey.
Yes, sir, I do.
Do we have any of that?
Well, yes, of course.
Not that we can
You know, the
drink.
Gatling drink dispenser has
Do you wanna
many different types.
Try? For old time's sake, I tried to bit an apple. Just try. Do it.
Clyde Estale, reporter here in that then their field with a hashtag news flash. Annie Oakley, the apple of our eye, has just set a new world record for number of apples eaten. Now back to you in the studio, James.
Thank you, Chad.
Nice.
Oh, I got a news flash for you, folks. Let me see if I can dig this one up. Newsflash! With the conclusion of the cleanup and the search for the missing victims of the tragic Project Metaverse explosion, investigators have released a press statement indicating that 16 of the Project Metaverse beta test volunteers were not found among the wreckage.
Uh-oh.
Their names are currently being withheld at this time.
That's scary news.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't come back to haunt us ever.
No, not at all.
Come back to haunt
Nothing
us
ever
weekly.
does.
I'm sure nothing in these news flashes has any bearing on the world at all.
No.
No, never. Could never possibly be related to anything.
I know.
So, they've set up a nice little camp as the two of you actually require rest, whereas these two seemingly don't. Well, they were enviously watching you eat apples, and now it seems the doc is enviously watching the professor drink whiskey.
And smoke my pipe.
And they kind of can't take his eyes off of it. There's a definite...
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Do my flames get a little bigger watching them?
A little. It is definitely obvious that you miss these activities, and you have some semblance of what it used to be like.
While we're setting up camp, I'm doing all the normal camp chores. And when it comes time to go to bed for the night, I go and I stamp out the fire and I grab the bucket of water and I pour it on the horses to put them out for the evening.
We're not boosted, are we?
No.
Not quite. They do not take kindly to the water, which hisses and steams as it
Well, you know,
contacts them.
you never should go to bed with a fire burning. That's what I was always told. So I'll make
And
sure
one of
that
them
we go.
regards you with an evil and rather intelligent gaze.
I give him an apple.
It no longer gives you the evil look and consumes the apple.
There, you'll feel better in the morning once that magic takes hold. Have a good night.
The two of you lay out your bedrolls. It once again is this horrible thing where I have two people who I can't surprise, even though I've had 2 ambush encounters planned. So it's kind of bad writing on my part, but oh well.
That's
Now-
because I sleep with one eye open.
And
There are
I do
going to
not
be
sleep.
6 flying creatures swooping into attack, which I normally wouldn't tell you, but unfortunately, because of Greedo's Huckleberry, unless you're surprised, you make a single attack roll.
Because you can't get surprised, you always make a.
You always.
So you always get to make 1 attack roll before we even worry about surprise. Just out of nowhere, standing, you're there, they're getting ready to bed. Doc just pulls his pistol and shoots into the sky.
I was like, oh good, I was getting bored. I can't sleep.
It's like a reflex.
There we go. Beat it by 10.
Beat it by 10 is a critical success. And this creature, which it has about a 20-foot wingspan, it's a massive toothy maw and horned head, looks like a combination of like bat and wolf blended into one flying weird monstrosity.
Oh, it's a sky puppy.
And the first one of them is shot completely out of the air by a crack shot from Doc right between its eyes, crashing into the bush very loud.
What sort of puppet did you have?
Sky puppies in flight.
And we will roll initiative now.
Late night camp delight.
17.
17.
Yikes.
23.
That's my
Oh,
roll.
right. We're doing
Yikes.
these again, aren't we?
15.
Yeah.
16 plus 6
no.
is...
And we have initiative.
24.
first.
Oh, plus my initiative. Yeah, there we go. Okay, 19.
19. Okay.
Sky puppies in flight.
Now, we will be starting with you. However, before we start, we're gonna burn that meta meltdown, and you guys are gonna swap characters first. So if Doc and the professor would swap, and if Jesse and I really want to make this swap because this is gonna make this really funny.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no, you don't get to be him.
Nope.
No, yep, you want to
get
swap
to be him.
avatars? There we go. And now I will start on your side of the table, occupying the body of Doc Holliday. What do
Oh,
you do?
well, would you look at that? Okay.
Thank you for the meta meltdown.
How
sir.
many of these things are there? Where are they coming from?
There are still 5 that you are aware of in the sky because of your heightened senses. They are on a dive bomb assault course with the camp at this very moment.
It's delightful. Honestly, getting to see other people's character sheets is the most fun part of it.
It is.
know,
It
it
is
really
kind of.
is. What were you looking at specifically?
-6 penalty to build machinery incapable of combat functions. Like, that's just delightful.
All right, I'm thinking. Oh. Yikes.
Oh,
Yeah, the 2 of you should swap hats.
we should. Oh, I just read that.
White hat, black hat.
Here we go.
I like it.
105 to boosted. We're almost there.
I know what I want to do at boosted.
I bet you do. It's fun to put you in unfamiliar avatars and make you
It
figure
is.
out.
It
All
is-
right, I'm gonna just pull guns and start shooting man bats out of the sky.
Yes,
Sky
somebody
puppy.
said it.
Yay!
Sky puppies.
Yeah.
Take that, sky puppy! I'm your Huckleberry. Oh, I still gotta roll 12 for this guy. Oh,
Oh, that.
Forgive me, I need your hat.
Switch your glasses.
I don't know if that's gonna work.
all right, I think I'm ready.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I am not. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
back.
I can no longer read this character sheet,
Switch back, switch back.
but I think I'm all the way over on pilot side for the most part.
One away.
One away.
And we do have a meta point. Oh, we have a shit ton of moments of
Which
clarity.
means,
Yeah.
And there are 6 moments of clarity in the store, and you have 2 hacksaws in the store.
do I?
Yes, you can't see them, but they're there.
All right. Well, Are they dropping from the sky?
Yeah, they're like on a dive bomb course.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Dive bomb. Okay, so
Like they were going to even get a surprise attack in, but two people just can't be surprised.
and I'm
so
one of them. Okay, well.
Their whole ambush in the night attack was absolutely foiled.
Well, I'm going to use better dice because that would suck not to. To use a skill that I rolled a 4 on. That 4 is for the skill power use, and they don't move that way. They move that way.
You fling them backwards.
No, and I use hacksaw, so I fling them upwards.
Five upward. You fling 5 of them upwards.
Indeed.
And up they go.
Up they fall.
Switch your glasses back.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah, so
able
you
to
can
see.
see.
Let yourself see.
I'm dying.
But
Hello,
that will
everyone.
make it pass to you, sir. They are falling up at this point.
They are falling up. Okay.
They were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
You've never seen anything fall up before, but now you have.
Yeah. I am very confused by this
It's
whole
like they have
proceeding.
bungee cords attached to their ankles, throwing them in the opposite direction at the exact same velocity.
It is in fact exactly like that.
Nice. Okay, I am going to try and, given that they're man-batty and I'm also somewhat leery of there being more undead or vampire-y themed stuff, I'm going to try and modify the rotary Gatling using any sharpened pieces of wood that I can find around in the forest.
Oh, the Gatling steak launcher.
Yep, steak launcher away.
Also cooks steaks.
Two
You know
two
what's
things
funny?
in one.
That's what I heard before you did the ant. I heard the meat steak part first.
Fire
Because
sharpened
I'm always
pieces of
hungry.
wood. It also sharpens the pieces of wood for you.
Beat it by 5.
Beat
Yeah,
it
buddy.
by 5. You launch a hail of these chunks of wood in the air, and though most of them go wide, one of these creatures is completely ripped to pieces from chunks of this wood. You don't know if it's the
You
whole
don't know if you-
vampire thing,
Not really
or if
if
you
you
just
just-
shredded it into little pieces.
Right.
But either way,
It looks like massive tissue damage.
still
Seems to be the way
rip
to go.
it into little bits.
Clyde Estale, out in the field with a hashtag news flash. This reporter is unsure of the happenings with our pilots. Now that Dr. Gatling has put out the horses, how will our heroes maneuver themselves out of this situation? Now back to you in the studio, James.
Newsflash and a pun.
Oh.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Newsflash. A government watchdog group has uncovered and released files and photographic evidence indicating that a top secret military technology has been stolen from a Nevada test site 2 weeks ago. The Department of Defense has denied all such claims.
Of course
Because they can't possibly
Weird.
be true. The government's our friends. All
Yes.
hail, friend government.
I, for one, accept our new robot overlords.
Don't blame me.
I voted for Kodos.
Yep.
Oh, I love these guys. Next in our count will be me, but they are falling. I'm going to let them attempt to not fall. And
Hashtag Rosie buff, a little folk wisdom always comes in handy.
Oh,
Yay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wisdom.
I love folk wisdom.
Oh,
thank you, Chef. 2 of them continue their uncontrolled fall, but 2 of them are able to spiral out of it and continue back forth on their dive bombing course heading for you.
They realize that
will
they just-
not be able to reach you this round because they have been launched so far away from this falling.
Oh, now I feel bad for him.
That will put it to yourself in the body of Annie Oakley over
Yes.
there. What are you going to do?
Well, because I'm the best cowgirl that doing best at everything, I think I'm gonna take one of those sky puppies and I'm gonna ride it.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take my rope.
I'ma ride it.
I'ma ride it. Go. I'm gonna take my rope. I'm gonna get to the top of our wagon and I'm gonna and try and lasso one of those
Would
sky
you like
puppies.
to lasso One
Does
of
she
the
have
two.
a bonus for doing the sound effect?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how ropes sound.
Would you like to lasso one of the two that is continuing to fall upwards, or one of the two that has spiraled out of the fall and is coming back into a dive?
I would like to take one of the two closer ones.
So the ones in the dive.
Are
alright.
they falling parallel to each other?
Well, the ones that are falling up.
Wait, right. Falling up.
The ones that are
dive
actually in
bombing.
control of themselves are dive bombing towards you.
Dive.
Are they
Like
parallel?
a bird of prey. Not really. They're kind of scattered apart because the falling thing kind of threw them off. They were originally before it all started, in a wonderful, perfect formation, but it's all screwed up now.
Are the ones that are closest to us, are they hurt? Did they get hurt by the wood?
The one that got hit is completely ripped to pieces.
Okay, so
and
he's
just
fine.
about now, like the bits of it are landing around the wagon and on the ground.
I'm
a piece of
assuming the
arm,
horses
hand,
are-
a little
Elsa.
ear. Yeah.
I will have to investigate that further to see if they were, in fact, vampires.
Okay.
Chunky salsa is right, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take the rope and I'm gonna lasso one of the ones that's closest to me, and I'm planning to lasso it. Do I just have the one rope, or do I maybe have smaller ropes, or like an
Annie
assortment
has
of
whatever
ropes?
ropes she needs at any time.
Whatever rope she needs.
And that sounded way dirtier than I meant it to.
No, not at all. I like
She
it.
likes
I liked it.
Okay, what King Teddy and I do behind closed doors.
That's your own business.
I would not like to lasso the sky puppy around its neck because I do want to be able to ride it, not choke it. And it's still, what's its wingspan?
About
What's
20
its
feet.
20-foot wingspan. I like that. I feel like I can do a lot with it. So, and I'm guessing the sky puppies are very good at listening like bats are. They have that sonar ability.
It's too warm for ears to be down.
That's good. Okay, so yeah, once I'm gonna lasso it, not around the neck, probably around cause it's coming down like, so I'm gonna get it around the mouth like a harness, like a horse.
I got
So
you.
it'll go, and then when I get on top, I'm gonna start singing it a cowgirl campfire song to try to lull it to sleep, because that is also a cowgirl thing.
I'm going to give you the penalty for splitting your actions. You're going to take a penalty of 2 to both your rolls, but you're rolling against your cowgirl skill.
And yes, exactly.
So, penalty of 2 on your rolls, but I need 2 rolls against your cowgirl stuff skill.
Well, on both rolls?
Yep, both rolls are penalized by 2, but they are both against your cowgirl score.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use a moment of clarity.
For which one?
This first one, which is the lassoing.
All
Need
right.
to lasso it first.
The lasso
Yep,
is using
yep.
a moment of clarity.
Good thing I did. That's 12. Well, it
12.
wouldn't be near.
That beats it by 6, which is plenty, even though it is at a distance that you should not conceivably be able to lasso, and traveling at a velocity that you should not conceivably be able to lasso. But somehow, this avatar that you're in, Annie Oakley, lassos this flying creature impossibly and begins to scale it to sing
Jump on her.
campfire songs.
And then, as well, not quite campfire song, but as I climb up, I'm like, gonna climb this rope to hold my puppy tight. I got 5. I'm gonna sing it,
It
so it goes
Quite
tonight.
the hypnotic rhythm and song that begins here.
If I had a banjo, this would be more better, but I don't, so my voice is gonna...
It sort of changes its pattern and dive and passes over, and instead you see Annie Oakley climbing and singing this thing as it circles around and
I like
disappears into the dark sky above you.
it. Fly.
In the body of Jesse, what do you do?
That's what it
You
is.
just watched your avatar disappear.
Well, there's what Maggie wants to do. And she's gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna use a meta point and go here. Rosie really likes Annie Oakley. Rosie grew up adoring Annie Oakley and finding herself in the body of a rival. Bang. just misses the shot completely. just shoots nothing. Oh!
You're throwing the fight on purpose.
Look at how bad I am at this!
Hi, my name is Jesse James and I suck.
Boom!
Bang!
And that's about the long and short of it.
Can she roll still? Because I want to see her fail her fail. Maybe she
know-
hit something.
I'll tell you what, grab 2 dice. If you roll 1s on it, you accidentally hit something.
Okay! Oh, dear God.
All right,
Come
but
on.
I'm in the middle, so it's 12.
Yep, you gotta roll 1s on both.
Oh, it was only one.
She did roll a 1, though.
Not
I
enough.
remember that.
Now, if she was in her avatar, Vanny Oakley, then she would have absolutely completely missed everything because she said she didn't get anything.
Right.
But Rosie has a chance to not
Right.
hit her target.
Oh.
And so, yes, she totally throws the shot.
I'm Jesse Jane.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at things.
Dude, am I close enough in the ground where I see this?
You absolutely.
And I go and I'm singing, I'm like, gonna grab.
Oh!
I'm really mad. I'm really mad. So I'm gonna steer Sky Puppy to just get a little closer. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm getting closer.
You bitch!
I think we got-
Hashtag meta point because points for the meta.
Yay!
Thank you, chat. Oh, that was absolutely fabulous.
That was pretty nice.
No, that was pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah, that was very good.
I'm Jesse James. Annie Oakley is so much better than me.
We'll be next going with the Wyatt in the Avatar, Professor Richard Gatwin. This was the start of a new round. You're not switching back yet. No.
Oh, no. That's fine. Didn't he have the higher?
Oh, sorry, you're correct. 24. I thank you for correcting me.
That me again.
You will be going in the body of Doc Holliday. I'm keeping you in these little
I'm
bodies.
going in the body of Doc Holliday right now.
That's on the internet now.
I did think maybe we'd switch back before the next round, and I feel like James is punishing me now.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he is. He's giving her a chance to have revenge on you. That's the only reason this is lasting longer than one round.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
That's not
statement.
him, not me. That was
How
his
many of
choice,
these
though.
flying bats are still around?
There are 4, 2 falling, 1 dive bombing still on a construction, and 1 being ridden or roped, or you're not really sure what's going on there.
So
but
2 are falling.
falling up.
2 are falling up still.
There is 1 still on its course, lined
He's
up.
just like got himself like in this
yeah,
perfect
just
position.
screaming eagle in, heading for you.
So that's awesome. I think instead though, he should just like make himself in a cannonball position. So I'm gonna bend his arms and his legs like that.
Make me a power use roll.
What power is this?
Oh yeah, and explain yourself. 'cause
I
people
still
are
made
confused.
it.
And then explain yourself because people are confused.
Oh, good. Let them be confused. I'm using Crash's kinetic energy control power to make him into a meat puppet. Briefly going against his defense. What's his dodge bonus?
His dodge bonus is a 6.
Oh no, I will not hit him unless I use my buff.
Use your buff.
Using my buff.
Using your buff, you do in fact hit him, folds him up into this little cannonball shape.
You know, like maybe he was like this before, but now I just like have him put his arms to his side so his wings aren't out. And he just oh god, there he can't move.
It is a massive increase in velocity.
Yeah.
Also, like a rock is what I'm going for. Like,
Yep.
Excellent.
I'm not looking for him to fall faster than he was. Just, not so much flying in the controlled dive as just falling.
It's kind of like a rock that has been thrown at this point.
Yeah. So I basically got him telekinetically mummy wrapped, I guess is the way to describe it.
That's horrible.
Yes. Ugh.
Wide in the body of Professor Gatling.
Fadior, you only get one of those. Just so you know. There's one Star Wars joke per knowing Luke.
That's absolutely a fact. Everybody gets one.
I earned an extra one about 6 years ago, but
It's true. It was ludicrous.
it never should have happened.
Yeah, but
I'm saving mine.
I didn't know I had one, but I'm really excited about it now.
Yeah, everybody gets one, just so you know.
One what?
One Star Wars reference to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because his name is Luke. So every time I finish, I use the Force Luke, like in the movie.
Yeah, now that I don't have to worry about like this Titan Force stuff, this is actually much more. I've got a little bit more freedom with this. I can just-
What was that? You're not having to worry about this
No
Titan
Titan
Force
Force.
stuff?
I've got
Titan
there is
Force.
no Titan Force on my sheet anymore.
No Titan Force
Ooh.
anymore.
Ooh. Well, I would like to pull out Professor Richard Gatlin's patented Pneumo Assist, which is a pneumatic device intended to assist in construction. However, I still haven't gotten the levels fully dialed in, and unfortunately, it releases maximum compression on every use. So I would
I'm meaning
like
to get that fixed.
honestly, you're right on the cusp. Right on the cusp. I would like to take aim at one of the falling ones that are.
One of the ones that's falling upwards,
They're
and it's
falling
still
upward.
falling up.
Yeah. Take aim and give a shot at that. Do you need a.
You may
weapon
use
invention?
either. Yep, and that's exactly one you can use. That is the skill point.
Oh, that
8 by 10?
That is a critical success. And you do hit one of these falling ones with maximum velocity, and the impact is rather catastrophic, and it's flying up. The pieces all continue to fly up. The force that was around it stays around the entirety of its body, even though it is now separated into numerous little chunks. And now all these little chunks and bits and pieces are continuing to fall up at this high rate. Some of them splattering around the other one that is also falling next to it.
See, I was trying to remember the equation for how gravity works, so I decided to use a mnemonic device. Unfortunately, I thought about this before I went to sleep after having some Welsh rarebit, and I woke up thinking it was a pneumatic device. It did not work.
Oh, those rabbit dreams. They get you every
my,
time.
Every time.
my. The one that is covered in its ally and still falling up is going to attempt to recover from the falling, which it is not going to do so and continues to fall upwards. The one that you have roped, that's going to see if it can snap out of the little spell that you have put it under, singing your cowboy songs to it. And it also does not do so, continuing to fly along, very happy and content. The one that is kind of just flying through the air like a rock sails over the top of your heads.
Hashtag Maddox buff to be fair and boosted to see what Maggie has in mind.
Oh, I love you, Chad.
Thank you.
The one with the high velocity flying on a rock goes right over the top of the wagon, and your head's on the wagon, hitting the trees and going through them, and the sound is quite loud and mixed in the impacts or the squeaks of whatever this creature is, as it just hits trees and bushes and vines, and eventually
it does squeak though, doesn't it?
it eventually comes to a stop
I feel like it squeaks.
about 100, 200 meters into the jungle. And when it comes to a stop, there is no further noise from it.
Now it's plant food.
Yes.
It, in fact, is.
We are.
Are these things alive?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure they were living
These
things.
things,
That is a living
what things-
thing.
What things did you? Sky things.
Sky
The sky
Oh,
puppies, they're
yes.
living things. They're not vampires. I know that.
Yeah.
It's-
They are, in fact,
I can
living
sense living things.
Yes.
Why would you think they were vampires? I mean, just like out of curiosity, it seems random.
Well, you're not necessarily an educated person like myself.
No, I'm just James.
I'm a fucking idiot. Me,
Jesse James. Standing over here, just the dumbest piece of shit in the world.
I can't believe how downright stupid and ugly I am most of the time.
I feel like this is a table break.
It's one of the best gags I've ever seen.
Derp-de-dur, I'm an idiot. Bang.
Okay, silly dokey. I'm an idiot.
We'll continue with your explanation, please. You were rudely interrupted.
Yeah, I don't even remember what we were talking about, man.
Why
You're an
vampires?
educated man. Why you speak
Anything south of the Rio Grande is kind of no man's land as far as monsters and such are concerned, especially the South American kingdom, which are largely run by necromancers, vampires, and other such terrible creatures, having run out all of the fancy feathered serpent types long ago.
All right.
It's a very good information. We are then going to the Miss Annie Oakley, being occupied by Maddox, who have climbed upon this creature and are now flying it.
Yes,
essentially.
And I am assuming, because of our earlier incidents, that I still have a bundle full of apples.
You do, in fact, have a bundle full of apples.
Alrighty. Well, I'm getting a sense that maybe
Though even looking at them makes you queasy.
the apples.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't want to have any more, but I have a feeling that this sky puppy is starting to trust me a little bit. So I would like to try and feed it while it's nice and calm some of these juicy, delicious Magic's apples.
All right, give me an everything else roll.
Okay. And I am also, you mean taking care of livestock is not cowgirl stuff?
This is not taking care of livestock.
This is not livestock so much as a flying monstrosity.
Livestock amongst this area. I mean,
Nope.
if you were to raise anything in
This
this
most
area.
certainly falls under the everything else category.
Alrighty, well, just for shits and giggles, I'm using a point of clarity too, because I really want this to work.
Moment of clarity used.
I feel like it's going to work either way, considering what the score is for everything else.
Has to be below that though. Oh, it's a 9?
No, and you needed a 7. So
Right, but I do have a +4, so I'm gonna make it work.
You used the
Yeah.
+4,
All right.
and somehow
congratulations, you healed the sky puppy.
there's a little banking wing, and coming back over now you can see them these little flying things, and there's Annie Oakley riding on the top of it, feeding it an apple out of her hand.
On Apple, like, not only am I gaining its trust, but I'm starting to tame it a little bit by
You know, this
feeding it.
thing with massive
Wow, you are right, Jesse James.
This is
Annie Oakley is far better than you at just about everything, see?
Yep.
I know.
I can't believe how bad I suck.
In fact, why don't you show us? Because it's your turn. There is still one
Oops,
falling
I
up.
pooped my pants.
That's what I'm afraid is what's to happen with the day.
One that has crashed into the woods, and the one
Just
that
start eating a bunch of
Annie
apples
Oakley
out of
is flying
spite.
upon.
To get Annie sick.
Right, the one that Annie Oakley's flying, and then there's the one shooting up.
Falling up.
I mean, falling up.
It is not shooting up.
It's
This is not a
falling.
bathroom in downtown Tacoma.
It is falling up. Well, I guess I've started the gag, and one should commit to their gag.
One should commit to their gag.
Cool.
I hear she's been bragging all this time that she has no gag reflex. Well,
And I don't even have Andy or Helen in studio.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
They're here in spirit.
What's that? What's that? What's
that's where her
underneath there?
face used to be.
I want to see what color your face is.
It's pink.
It's
pink.
this color.
It's the same color pink as mine.
Oh god.
Okay. Okay.
That's amazing. You don't know what to do. You're stunned. Because you're so dumb. You're so dumb. You can't make a move. Brr, brr, brr.
I am so incompetent.
If I only had
How
a
far
brain.
away is the one that crashed and died?
You
Oh,
what?
about 200 meters, 200 yards.
I want to run to it and shoot it, and then I took one down.
Jesse James takes off into the jungle, and after a few moments and scrambling sounds and brush breaking and sticks cracking, you hear a single gunshot. And then the shout of,
I took one down. I got it.
And I'm still
Yes, well,
just
as an
feeding it
educated
apples.
man.
all right, you can swap
That's all
avatars
we
back
can.
now.
Oh, good.
You're welcome for a new horse.
I like that you took the high road.
Oh,
Of course I did, because I have a heart of gold.
All right, hats.
Yes.
I gotta say,
All right.
this is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Are we? Is it?
Oh, that's the
nighttime?
best meltdown I've ever done.
Is it nighttime? Are we
It
gonna
is
rest?
still nighttime. There's still one falling upwards, and you are riding on one and feeding it an apple
Yeah, but
right
like,
now.
look, the one falling upwards. Like, do we really need to? I mean, like, it's just gonna keep falling up.
You are
right?
pretty sure the one you're riding any second is gonna realize that the two of you are not friends.
Oh.
For some reason, it is
Traded.
apparently as dumb as Jesse James and has no idea that you're not friends right now.
Right. However, I actually do have animal training.
This is kind of your thing.
This is my thing. So,
So you want a sky puppy? It's really.
A 20-foot long sky
yeah,
puppy.
yeah. I think we need a sky puppy.
I think we do too.
Yeah, I want to.
Finally, they get along. They're getting along.
I'm gonna.
Sky puppy,
Not
bringing us
wait
all
till the custody
together.
battle comes.
By the way, I'm in the woods with a shotgun.
Wait till I tell them I can just
banging
befriend
my
animals
head
anytime I
against
want. This is just way more fun.
You're telling me.
All right, I'm gonna use my animal training. I'm gonna use a moment of clarity
Yes.
as well. So, well, shit.
No.
No, it's okay. I still beat it by 3. I'm gonna use my 3 from Patreon, which I haven't used. Making
So
me
you beat it by 6, which is exactly the number you need to convince this thing that, in fact, the two of you are friends. And somehow it now believes that apples are superior to flesh as a diet, even though it can only subsist and survive
And
off
we
of
now
flesh,
have-
and is now going to starve to death.
Magic apples are really handy.
Look, we finally got our Sky Puppy, and do you see what he does? He tells us it's going to starve to death.
Wait, why? I missed it. I was too excited over sky.
Well, now it only wants apples, but it needs meat to live.
You're a sick son of a bitch. It's just great.
God damn it, James. Look, we can have our Sky Puppy
We
for a
all know
little
you're
bit.
just being mean, but we think it's cute.
Could we potentially coat one of the dead sky puppies in applesauce?
We potentially.
It just
Yes. I think
Chops
we'll
and
find a hack.
applesauce.
I think we'll find a way around this. We'll find a way around this.
Just take your pulverizing blender gun, put apples and flesh, and
Wait a
shoot
minute.
it down.
Have you been going through my things, young lady? Because I have not yet told anybody about Professor Gatling's amazing blender gun.
It's like a Vitamix.
Pulverizing blender gun.
What
And
mind?
nose hair trimmer.
Yeah, yes. What mind could even conceive of it?
For
Only
when you
an
want something
educated
blended
one.
and it's way over there.
Exactly.
I assume that, or do we still have to fight the one falling?
The one that is falling continues to fall to the point where it then it can't breathe anymore and it requires oxygen. And it's a question of how long you'd like it to continue to fall.
I forgot about him.
So if you wish another round or two and it will enter the atmosphere and then the vacuum of space and then die.
Oh, that's good then.
Okay. It is
So-
now floating in orbit
Excellent.
around the planet.
Now I let it
frozen.
go.
Eventually the orbit will decay and it will burn up upon
Are
re-entry.
sky puppies pack animals though? Oh,
No.
we got the horses.
Yeah.
No, it is not a pack animal. It struggles to hold even one of you aloft.
Well, just that's all we need.
So now we're like all back around the campfire again?
Correct.
Excellent. I would like
With
to
a sky
use,
puppy.
with a Sky Puppy, I would like to use my boosted ability.
What are you using your boosted ability for?
Annie Oakley is nothing if she is not just the most generous soul in the entire world. Hex Destiny is going to cast a spell so that our two friends can eat and drink for one evening. So that if you've got whiskey or something, he can have it, you can eat an apple. Hex Destiny is going to cast that spell.
Your curse is lifted for one night.
Doc is, in a phrase, going to get turned.
And then I slowly and calmly
I hope
turn
you like
over
Apple
to
Jacks.
Annie.
Because that's the only thing I got that refills, so.
I take off my hat, and then I come in and I hug you real close and I say, I hate you, but god damn it, do I respect you. Right in your ear.
I know.
I respect you too, man. And then they bro hug it out.
Yes, we're bro
Jesse
hugging.
James and Annie Oakley.
The
are
posturing
bro hugging it out.
gunfighters.
Yep. And
Broing down.
also getting turned.
Broing down
Oh,
in
we
South
are.
America.
We would
Also
also
getting
like
turned.
to get turned.
Also
also
getting
turned.
turned.
Yes.
Well, I am
collectively-
teetotal. I will have a warm Applejack with my dinner, and that is all.
In a short period of time, they are rather inebriated, and you are not.
Well, that's fine. I will play music for them on my Professor Gatling's patented banjo/flamethrower, and we'll have ourselves a nice evening.
It is quite the show, both figuratively and literally.
I love you guys.
I love you.
Who's smoking? I got cigars. All right.
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
I love it when you say that.
And then the sky puppy, I'm sure his wings are out. I'm gonna get it under one of those big flappers.
And for a night the curse is lifted, you feel heat, cold, a touch of skin,
Oh my god.
food,
Not mine.
drink. Feel a breeze in the air for the first time in years. And you have certainly missed it.
Yeah.
When the morning comes, you are back again to being cursed, however. This has the wonderful benefit that neither of you are even remotely hungover.
No.
However, Miss Oakley, your head feels like,
Like it did this morning.
yeah, it's bad.
And the doorman kept
And
trying
waking
to talk
up
me.
to see the absolutely chipper look on Jesse James' face is kind of difficult.
Apple turnovers for breakfast, everyone.
Oh, wow.
I'm still better.
And, some back bacon from an unnamed source.
Sky puppet bacon.
Is it doing okay? It looks like it's settling in with our pack.
It's rather fixated on Miss Oakley all the time.
Good.
Doesn't seem to take its eyes off of her. And gets ecstatic anytime she reaches for the bag full of apples.
Does it?
Even if she reaches past the bag full of apples to grab something else, she just goes near the bag full of apples and
with its big nose.
Oh, it's big no, you use apples for the noses.
traveling further onward on the
Fire
following
horses.
day. It's around noon before your hangover abates itself.
Yeah, that's fine.
The jungle
not
opens into a clearing here.
Bad at all. I'm over 30. Dude, it's
Right.
fantastic.
That's a 24-hour.
Well, you are a legend of the West.
That's true. That's true.
The jungle opens to a vast clearing here. There are numerous newly constructed buildings here, very different from those ancient structures you saw passing through the jungle. In the center of this clearing is a Joe's Diner, surrounded by a perimeter of pulsing arcane energy, conducted through a ring of black stones set around the diner. A single robed figure stands in your path, holding a wooden staff.
Gandalf?
Where-
Sir Richard Gatling, I seek the Grail blue.
Tim?
Wyatt, you are aware that what you are seeing there, this individual, is an illusion.
It is?
You are aware of that.
Oh.
So you know that man ain't really there.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Well, let's walk by.
Once he points it out, you can see that as well.
He's totally not there.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
He looks very there to me.
I'm just gonna yell out, "Howdy, sir!"
He's
See if
meant
he's
to
up.
look like he's there. See, that's their whole plan.
Now,
And
enough
at that
of this-
moment, both Jesse and Doc freeze, completely stock still. And again, mid-speech, mid-movement. Their steeds stop moving. They just freeze into place. You can hear with your heightened senses from some of these buildings nearby, like chanting, and you're familiar enough with spell casting from some of your other avatars, that you are certain there is some spell casting going on right now.
Hell no. They are doing the devil's work here.
Well, then why is it bothering the devil's people?
Because they are our friends and not fully connected to the devil no more.
You just making things up again, Annie?
Mm-mm.
Are you?
Mm-mm.
Is that a yes?
Mm-mm.
So yes then?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You're right, this is my fault. I'm sorry that I made this mistake. It will not happen again.
I never said he made a mistake.
But if I did, what would it be?
I don't know.
Are you sure that it is the devil that's doing this?
I have an inkling.
Ah, good, an inkling. That'll get it started somewhere. Hello! Hey there!
Yeah.
Come on now!
There's-
Yo.
The
right,
chanting
boy.
is definitely intensifying.
They are chanting.
Who are?
The people around. Can't you hear it?
Listening now, you hear a faint sound of maybe chanting coming from one of the buildings.
Oh, yeah, no, I hear it.
Right, so let's go stop it, because then maybe our friends can move.
Is that how that works?
I think it's a theory worth testing.
Okay, I'll just ask him. Well, come on then.
They continue to remain stock still.
Are they both on their horses?
No, the horses that were pulling the wagon, though, have stopped.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we're about there anyway. We don't really need to leave the wagon hitched up here. I'll hitch up the horses even though they're not moving. Oh,
Like they stopped in mid.
grab a gun belt and grab another gun belt and crash Jackson those motherfuckers along with us.
And you plucked them off the wagon, holding them up now.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we have to
You
shoot
can
anything,
see like this black little banding. It's like creeped up their ankles into their calves, and it's slowly spiraling its way around their legs, going higher and higher.
that's probably bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do not have much in the way of magical experience.
Well, I do.
Good. Would you mind using that now?
Yeah, you know, it's magic comes and goes.
Could you have it come right now and figure out what the hell is going on with this?
Yes,
Thank you.
I could. It is on my sheet. Whew.
Yes.
So what kind of magic is it? Is it?
You're not quite sure that's going to require a sorcery check to find anything out.
Okay. And I will do so. Well, that's a big fat no.
You are not quite sure what's going on with the magic here.
Well, all right. I guess I will just have to guess.
They are most certainly being magicked, however. That is what a 19 tells you. They are being magicked.
They are being magicked.
All right. Well, I do not have...
Can I just get closer, listen again, and try again?
That is one thing you could potentially do. You could potentially do all a variety of things.
There's a circle of black stones, right?
Yeah, surrounding the entire perimeter of
I
this.
did not know that.
You did
Shows
say that.
I missed
surrounded with a field of pulsing like arcane energy is surrounding.
Think it
this
has
ghost.
anything to do with those stones?
Yes.
Well, then, it doesn't.
What?
Well, if you think it does, and you just completely failed, then it doesn't have anything to do with them.
While your logic is sound, I'm still gonna go break the circle.
You kick in the door of one of these buildings, and there are, in fact, as in three robed men. They're all holding hands with each other and chanting, and there's like this black swirling energy in between
Great,
all
I'll
of them.
bum rush
And
one of
in that
them.
swirling energy, you can see kind of a holographic almost version of Doc.
Yeah, I'll spear one.
As you kick open that door and see all that, we're all going to roll initiative and start combat. I know you guys are frozen, but I still want you to roll initiative for when combat does occur. For you. If it does.
Yeah. 23.
23.
13.
13 for a currently frozen Doc.
16.
16 for the currently frozen Jesse.
7.
And 7 for Annie Oakley.
I couldn't have ruled a 19 for this one and the fucking 3 for the other one.
And I have an 8, so I'll be going just before you, Miss Oakley. Mr. Gatling, you will be starting us off.
That's great.
She has kicked open the door of one of these buildings, and there's chanting going on there. It's quite clear now that that door has been kicked open, but you're quite certain that you can hear chanting coming from another building off on the other side as well.
All right. That's wonderful news. That's such nice news. I love that. Well, I want to go and see who is in that door. Do I need to kick in the door? Is it open?
Either or, it's not really held in place all that
No,
well. You
just,
can
you
just
know,
simply open it up and
take
you
a
see a
peek right in there.
much similar image of 3 individuals in robes that are linked in hands. Only the like holographic-esque image surrounded in black energy in between them happens to be Jesse James.
Oh, I see what they're doing then. Well, let's see if I have something here that I can offer them that would make them stop this spell. Oh, look, bullets.
Give me a Gatling machinery check, please.
Ooh, I made it somehow.
By how many?
Oh. Just this is not to hit them, right? This is just to make the gun, or is this a shooting check, or
this
is this
would- you could be
just a
shoo-
machinery? So
Could be either or.
okay, well then I made it by 2.
All right, you have your Gatling machinery. Would you like to shoot the Gatling machinery?
You bet your butt I would. And I'd like a moment of clarity to do so.
Using a moment of clarity.
Oh yes, 7 will do nicely. Beat it by 11.
Beat it by 11, which is a critical success. One of them attempts to, in a swift move, bring up this interposing barrier of magical energy.
Oh, how
And then it's just ripped into little pieces. And he gets, maybe like a frisbee-sized amount of it created before the bullets start hitting, which are going everywhere and well around this little frisbee plate. So it does stop a couple of bullets right about where his hand is.
Good.
And then 4 or 5 more go through his head and his shoulder and through his waist and body. And as he crumples to the ground, Jesse James is free. There are still 2 of them alive in there. Their circle is, however, broken. Jesse James will get to go next with a 16 now that the binding upon her
You're
is
welcome.
broken.
Thank you. What happened? Where am I? What?
Something was grabbing hold of you in some fashion. You felt like you were about to be a puppet.
Okay, and where am I?
There's the Joe's Diner is here.
Oh, we're in the Joe's Diner?
We're not
near
in.
the Joe's Diner.
There is a Joe's Diner encircled by black stones and a field of arcane energy. And a large clearing. Scattered around this large clearing are recently constructed buildings. 2 of them are being invaded by Mr. Gatling and Miss Oakley, and
And
there's
you do have a
chanting
boosted
coming from
ability
them.
available.
And you have 1 boosted ability available.
Okay, and do I, being, a henchman of Satan, recognize this mysticism?
Not particularly, though it is very galling to the avatar that you're occupying that someone would attempt to control it.
Right, because I didn't think that could happen unless it was the big man himself.
Oh, demons get bound into service all the time.
Right.
It's just a rather unfortunate piece of news to find out that you are, in fact, a demon.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take that. Put it in the back pocket for right now. And then I see he's frozen. Is
He still seems to be, apparently, frozen, stock still in place.
And they're gone in the
The
different
man's
buildings.
got one, maybe 20
I'm
or 30
standing at
feet
the
away.
door like 20 feet away from
And I
you.
Shooting repeatedly into it, and she's
And I
standing,
kicked open the door.
kicking open a door to
The
another
same
one.
door?
No, different buildings.
A different time. Okay, well, if you have a gun, you look like you're good. And we just made amends, so I'm going to come over to her and...
You see these 3 individuals in robes, their hands are all interlinked. There's this black swirling energy between them, and like almost a holographic-esque image of Doc between them being surrounded by this black energy.
And these 3 people, what sins do I see?
Oh, just
Look,
about
lots of dark magic.
everything.
Yeah.
Just about everything. These guys have done horrible things in the pursuit of their evil magic in their lives.
Okay.
They probably pirate a lot of internet movies.
What?
They most certainly do.
They're stealing a lot of music. Alrighty, well, as I'm gonna get my Hellfire lasso, and because they're strategically already in a circle holding hands, I'm gonna do a big enough lasso to lasso all three of them together.
You are going to rope all three of them together.
Which
All right.
is no damage, but
Now you can drag them to hell.
I
Wait, what happens to them if when they're not damaged though? There's
does no damage, but the target is grappled and overwhelmed with the guilt of their sins. Mind check required for them to take any action,
That's a lot of
including
guilt.
escape.
Yeah, they're not going to all be able to make that check to keep that spell
All right.
going,
Will you
so.
give me a roping and riding check to lasso them, please?
Got it. Tens. I'm definitely using a clarity for this one.
Using a moment of
Thank
clarity.
So I run to the door. I'm like, Annie, I'm coming. Rope it. Got a 5 on a
Is-
14.
Fuck yeah.
That is also a critical success, which will allow you to rope all three of them together.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay?
The
Are you
grip
okay,
upon
Annie?
you is immediately broken.
Of course.
Your avatar, Mr. Holiday, is quite put out at what was just attempted upon him.
Oh no.
Oh.
My action?
It is in fact you at a 13, where they're lining this up with freeing you just before your initiative count. It's been worked very well.
Well done.
Yes, I love it so when a plan comes together.
That's true.
I would like to try and execute as many of the three that were imprisoning me as I can, since they are bound now.
Absolutely. Give me shooting tests. I'm not going to give you the multi-action penalty because they are bound and helpless. But you are shooting bound, helpless individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Making
It's
sure.
like shooting tied up fish in a barrel.
You know what? Still not as bad as you saying that the sky puppy would starve to death. Just throwing that out there.
I
I make no claims to be a moral man.
Also, it was a man bat, and we've decided to call it a sky puppy. Let's just toss that out there. It's a,
Beat by
it's a
6.
giant man with a bat head and wings.
Beat it by 6.
Doc casually and calmly walks up beside you where you have these three roped and shoots them all individually in the head, executing them.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wow, that was intense, wasn't it? And an 8 is me, so I have the ones that are still alive dealing with you that I'm going to start with first. Both of those necromancers attempt to use their magic stabs to cast spells of necromancy upon you.
Oh no, magic, my only weakness. Nope, I'm human, I have several.
And your dodge for Mr. Gatling would be 4. That will not succeed.
But I actually have a 6 dodge because I'm on the crash side.
You're on the
at
crash
moment.
side, so 6 on the. I still, with a 3, will be able to get you with that second one. So it's going to do 30 necrotic damage to you as it strikes your very soul.
Oh, not necrotic damage. If only I had access to some sort of life magic.
Was it necromancy? I will show you how.
It was, in fact, necromancy that was used. In addition to those two, a new individual joins the fray. Stepping between the buildings is a creature out of a 5-year-old's nightmare, is the only way you could effectively describe it. This thing, stitched together from animals and men, has the head of a giant caiman, or a caiman if you would prefer. One of its arms is seems to be a prehensile anaconda. The other a fusing of bone and metal built into a scythe, and all this torso is stitched to what is probably a bull's body. It is a rather
And it
grotesque.
has the genitals of TV's Patrick Duffy.
Now,
Which
is
are
it the
exposed.
genitals of Patrick Duffy, or do their genitals resemble
You know.
Patrick Duffy? Just say.
He'll never tell.
Is not both true?
That's very true.
A thing can be two things. How much does it weigh?
Oh, you'd probably guess about 2.5 to 3 tons. It's quite substantial in size. It's almost like I know exactly what's on your character sheets.
Oh, don't worry. I can help with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, held action.
And it is going to use its 30-foot-long anaconda arm to try and grab hold of Mr. Gatling.
But I didn't think that.
Professor Gatling.
Professor, excuse me, I apologize.
I hate snakes.
But because of the 6-point dodge bonus currently granted to you from Crash, it will not be successful.
Oh,
in hitting
the
you.
anaconda don't.
Well,
The
get none.
anaconda don't. The anaconda.
All right, that's
I
enough.
won't.
Miss Oakley. Now what?
Well, after assisting Miss Jessie James in freeing, after being assisted by Miss Jessie James in the freeing of Doc, I see that this monstrosity.
So for your action, you stall?
I'm describing. I would like to. I'm gonna do a called shot.
At what?
It is head.
At the giant Chiron's head. Okay, you fire a called shot at the head portion. You have no penalty to called shots.
Correct. That is an 11. I beat it by 7.
Beating it by 7 is not enough for a critical hit, but it still hits the target.
And I was using the rifle, so 50.
50, all right. It hits pretty solidly, but that thick reptilian skin is also quite solid.
Now I know that he meant reptile, because I didn't know what the creature was before. I was just trying to play it cool. Now I know.
No, I didn't know
reptile.
what it came with.
Yeah.
Kind of the crocodilians of South America.
Oh,
They have a more narrow head.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
I watch Planet Earth. I remember now.
I've got the Nature Channel.
I got the nature. I have National Geographic.
They're rather amazing creatures. I'm kind of fond of them.
Cool.
That was the end of it. So we are going to go to the top. Before we start the top, because we have one in the store and because I love them so much, you know what we're
you're
going to
gonna
do
do
right
it.
now?
Oh, let's
That's
do
right.
it.
We're going to do a rule of cool. Now,
I do it
learned.
first.
Well, I learned the other week that we actually have to roll initiative for a rule of cool. This is what I was
really?
told. So I have to get a new initiative from each of you because that way somebody doesn't just get screwed, and we will determine which one of you is going to have to come up with your rule of cool plan first.
Well, that's much
So you-
better.
Just give me what you would have there.
25.
25.
Really?
Come on.
Oh, 14.
14. No sense in crying over spilt milk.
Wham!
16.
16.
19.
19.
Wow. Good job.
All right. So we're going to be doing a rule of cool, so I want you to tell me the coolest thing that you could do right now. What would it be? If you could do anything, accomplish anything, what would it be?
Okay, well, I think what Jesse James finds is cool can also be known as effective. So we're gonna make this a real speedy exit, and what I would like to do is, because it looks like it is a creature of many animals, and you know how dangerous the animal is? I like all animals, but not when they're trying to hurt me. So I would take my Hellfire Lasso, wrap it around the body real quick, containing that big anaconda, because I don't want none. And then what I would also do is like reach into my back pocket and then skip one of those portals to the purgatory right under its feet. So while it's contained, it just bloop, right down into purgatory and
Gift wrapped and sent to hell.
I
just
love that.
Yeah.
just be on your way.
That's really cool.
Just quick and
All
lasso
right.
and
I
drop
like.
in.
Gift wrapped and
you
sent
know
to
what?
hell is an option.
But when it drops, eventually we hear like a little plop. Like
Well,
at the
you
end
need
of-
that satisfaction at the end.
Yeah, I do.
You
I don't want to hear
you
that
need it.
nothing at all. He's gonna be like, oh my god. Boop, boop.
And you're like, ah, it's done.
All right. Next up, we will have Mr. Holiday.
Well, being an educated man,
Yes, you are. Sir.
I am
yes,
aware.
you are.
Oh, thank you, sir, professor, if you will.
That's
I
how
know-
you can tell he's educated.
I know that the weakest point of any construct are the points at which they are connected. So I would like to use my boosted premonition to understand completely how these creatures were attached together. Then, using a little of that old necromancy, show them how it's undone in this case. To try and rip that bad boy apart.
High-speed seam removal.
That's a great title.
High speed seam removal.
Okay.
Seam Ripper.
Seam
Seam
removal.
Ripper. I got
Seam
a couple
Ripper.
of those.
Okay. That's an
Sounds
interesting
like
one.
a Gatling product.
They did.
But that is
Rosie?
seam ripple.
Miss Annie Oakley.
Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you had the best. So
yeah,
yeah.
she has the best. She gets to go last.
I'm sorry. I skipped that one. Crash. Yeah, it's gonna be for next one.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Well, again, I'm a man who does not like to use violence, but that doesn't mean that I'm above it in any way. So, what I mean to do is to use my ability to commune with animals. My druidic powers granted to me by my late great friend, the wonderful Mr. Jonathan Appleseed. And I am here not to convince this demon to turn away, but to convince his snake arm that it is in fact very hungry for demon. He's got a 30-foot snake fern arm. I want to make sure that he's giving himself a nice hug, engaging in self-love, and realizing that his own head seems very, very tasty.
I like that. I would like to title that one, Why Are You Eating Yourself?
Yep, stop eating yourself. Why are you eating yourself?
A Ouroboros,
because I can
if you
speak
will.
to animals and understand them, I think that's great, but I have a boosted ability available, and so I'm going to use Harzul's Charm Monster ability.
Ah,
His spell
using the
at the same time.
Harzul's ability.
And that way, it also just thinks it's a great idea to eat the rest of itself.
I'm gonna go with Why Are You Eating Yourself as the title for that one. And that leaves it to our last.
And then I'll have some new snakeskin pants to lose.
Ooh. I would like to call the Texas tornado
Call the Texas
to
Tornado.
come to my aid. I would like to.
In South America.
Using your claw.
The Texas tornado is going to arrive, and then I'm going to ride the tornado because I can. And then I would like to put the tornado over the creature, during which I am going to open fire using trick shot, hoping that the tornado constantly makes the bullets bounce inside of it.
Bullet NATO?
Bullet NATO.
Bullet NATO.
Bullet NATO.
That's a new Sam Jackson movie.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's amazing. I mean,
Bullet
Annie.
NATO. Wow, you guys hear those? So you want to run that poll? We've got Gift Wrapped and Sent to Hell, High Speed Seam Ripper, Why Are You Eating Yourself, or Bullet NATO?
Isn't there an ancient symbol where it's like two snakes like that are constantly?
The
You
Ouroboros.
decide.
What is that?
The
The
never-ending
Ouroboros.
The never-ending story.
That. Well, oh.
I know.
The marketing campaign for Snakes on a Plane was amazing.
It really was.
I don't know if any of y'all have experienced this, but you could go online and give them a phone number of your friend and make all these selections from drop-down boxes,
Yeah.
and then Sam Jackson would call that person
Oh my
and
God.
fill in all of the random dialogue.
Oh my
It
god.
was amazing. I saved that message for years until
The
that
Snakes
phone
on a
call.
Plane message?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got one of those too. I love those.
Stop
That's nice.
hanging around playing with your hairy, scary beard. Just amazing.
They're voting.
They are voting. You got a strong lead there, Doc.
See, and I only got one, so it was pleasant for me.
Poll closing soon.
Winner, Rosie Tornado Ricochet riding.
all
Man, that
right.
was a close one.
That was. I didn't expect that.
Barely. The Crash is 1 vote behind you, along with Wyatt, 1 vote behind you. That was one of the closest rules of pool we had.
Seriously.
And it looks like we would have had a tie if Keen had gotten their vote in, which I'm gonna count Keen's vote, so we're gonna have a tie between Wyatt and Rosie,
Okay.
which we learned from Mr. Odie in a previous session that a tie means both happen. Oh, 3 is Crash?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Thank you. Make sure is that right?
I think so.
Keen, was your vote for Crash or for Rosie?
Or for Wyatt.
Or is it be Wyatt? I'm sorry.
3, it says
3
stop eating yourself.
Is 3 stop eating yourself? I want to make sure I get the tie right.
Yeah.
3 is stop eating yourself.
Yeah.
I know Rosie won. Who would have tied if we counted Keen's vote? Would one of you let me know?
Crash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
So the two of you, as we learned, yours are both
Success.
going to succeed simultaneously. Now, that does mean the two of you still have to attempt yours at the -5s first.
But
And because yours was the worst initiative, Ken, I want you to do your
Well,
rolls
I'm
first.
Jesse James and I'm something
So
But
give
you
me
know
gift
what's
wrapped
not dumb?
and sent to hell.
You know what's not dumb? The fact that I saved my buff again, and for the 3rd show in a row, I'm gonna use it during Rule of Cool.
yeah, girl.
Well done.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna keep using
Okay,
it.
you're
I'm
the only
gonna
one that's
keep
gonna have to
on
roll.
that move.
Sorry,
Nope.
I just got railroaded.
I love it.
Get it.
I just got really railroaded.
Yes!
Air 5-5. Everybody win.
Even with the penalty, he has a critical success, meaning that I have 4 critical successes for these actions. At the table.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're
So
about to
this
super OP.
poor,
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
creature first gets wrapped up, and while it's being wrapped up, this portal starts to open underneath it. While this is
So it
happening,
reaches out to hit all of you with its big giant snake
that snake arm comes back and bites its own face.
Yes. Yes.
So while it's
Dude,
biting
not cool. Not
its
cool,
own
dude.
face, these stitches begin coming undone throughout the entirety of this thing as it's falling into pieces. And these pieces are caught up in this Texas tornado that is being ridden by Annie Oakley. She learned that trick from Pecos Bill, by the way.
You damn right.
Shooting every single one of these pieces as the bits rain down through the portal into purgatory, splattering down. You see Bill looking up, and he says, "It worked great, Professor! They're all gone!" And then the portal closes.
Hey, I'm glad that Bill's plus scores are better.
Well, you much better temperament if you're not.
Oh my God, I
constantly
just got
Yeah,
what you were
yeah.
saying.
The swords cleared right up.
They cleared right up. I'm
Cleared
also,
right up.
That
I'm
does
also glad
powerful
that
mills.
Galling's snake oil is maybe not snake oil.
Yeah.
And that
Or
tornado.
maybe I just use high quality snakes.
In the
to
chaos
start
of that
with.
tornado, the
Better
remaining
ingredients, better snake oil.
The remaining 2 necromancers that were fighting with Mr. Gatling used magic to teleport away and escape,
Oh, teleporting away.
leaving a Joe's before you surrounded by these enchanted black rocks in a field of arcane energy.
Yeah, I want to break the circle of the rocks for sure. You
I
know.
thought you already did that.
Well, but we busted open the door instead.
Oh.
I think so. Break.
We
that's-
can dispel it.
It is some form of magic.
And I think that's I think you guys can handle
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Happy to assist.
Magic team up.
Magic team up.
Magic team up.
Oh, you know what? I never got to do a magic team up before, and I finally have a little bit of magic.
You should do it.
Magic
Would
team
my
up?
Would my druidic magic help at
Do
all in
it.
this?
Absolutely it would.
Magic team
Magic
up.
team up.
Wham!
Oh, but I'm gonna be,
I'm hanging
I'm gonna be ass at this, just so we're clear.
I'm rolling 12.
I'm hanging out with the sky puppy.
I had a 15.
I made it right on. That's not so bad.
Beat it by 2.
I'll take it.
I did
First
not.
timer.
But I just really wanted to break the circle.
You
and, like,
beat
move
it by
a rock.
2.
I beat it by 2.
I landed right on mine.
Right on. So success gives him a bonus of 2, so you succeed by 4. It takes a tremendous amount of effort, and you are exhausted, all 3 of you, after succeeding in doing so. But you are able to tear this magical barrier down, opening the way to Joe's Diner, which stands before you.
I'm not going in there because last time she said that she went in there, she said the place tried to eat her.
Oh, excuse me?
Well, last time it was a giant mimic, but I knew off the bat, and they were like, "No, it's Joe's," and I was like, "Nah, Hollywood doesn't talk like that." I knew. Come on, we should go in. It's gonna be fun. Here, okay, I want to open the door. Hey, Hollywood.
Wait,
Hey guys! He's behind the counter. There's not a single customer in there. Hey, cook! We finally got some customers. Fire up the grill.
Oh yeah, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's a good one.
All right.
Is he intimidated by how we look?
Doesn't seem to be.
Who is Hollywood?
He's the waiter.
You know, I got just the thing for you
At
guys.
every Joe's.
Pina coladas. You never had them in this time period. You're gonna love them.
All right.
Lay it on then.
Where's Balthazar?
I believe he's home. What you call Earth 668, I think?
We do call it that.
All right.
Yeah. He's home.
All right.
That's good.
Just want to kill some of his friends.
I don't think Balthazar knows anyone in this metaverse.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not directly.
He knows everybody at Joe's, though.
I was trying to do a test. I think we're okay. I think it's safe.
I haven't had customers in this location in a long time.
Excellent. Okay, I think it's safe. We're good.
Those guys have been trying to get in here for years.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're late then. Well, my apologies for our tardiness.
Are the pina coladas out? Are they out?
Oh, yeah.
Can I like to try and drink one?
Maddox is able to drink it here in Joe's.
Maddox.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Maddox is able to drink it here in Joe's.
Dear God, this is wonderful.
So we're back to.
No.
You're
in Joe's.
you're at Joe's, so you're
Things are a little
avatars.
different.
We don't know what Joe's means.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys haven't, but this is your first Joe's.
time
Yeah,
in Joe's.
So, waiter, this is our first.
Hollywood.
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 Thank you. We have never been here before, my friend and I. We've heard lots about it.
And he knows a lot about you.
Best franchise in the metaverse.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
I trust your discretion on one of those pina coladas, please.
Enjoy. You'll love it.
So that's Hollywood, and he is the boss of here,
Okay.
and he has magic powers, like he can make time or something, do stuff.
That would be useful.
And he's a wealth of information.
And he has a cook,
What's his name?
Cook.
Got it.
and he used to have a Brad that sang, but he's not here.
Oh no, he's back with Chad now.
No kidding. That's cool.
Brad and
Yeah.
Chad are together?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No.
Power couple.
He is
Yeah.
he promised to come by and do some karaoke now and again
Brad
though.
is
So
sentient
just
turkey
make sure
leg
you
that
check
shoots
in. I'm sure he'll be
friendship.
doing it again here. You'll get to see him.
Okay.
And this Joe's is connected to all the other Joe's, yes?
They are the other Joes. It is the other Joes.
It's
Okay.
complicated.
Okay, okay.
But you've been to one, you've been to them all. Or you've been to them all, you've been to one. I'm not really sure how it works, but it's one of those ways.
That
That's amazing.
makes a modicum of sense, I suppose.
No, you better.
So
finish
Tom
those
is coming
drinks.
here.
You better finish those drinks. I think your time in this place is almost up.
Oh, no. We just got here.
Oh, that's okay. We just have to fix this place so it can't be the spot. Right?
Right.
That's what Chad and his friends did. Yeah,
Well, what did they do?
they painted it.
Okay.
But we could do that.
Yeah? Yeah, no, we can paint it.
I want to
Can
walk.
you paint it?
Of course I can, but I think what we should do instead is walk outside and we shoot our names into the side of the building with bullets.
I bet you can't do that.
I bet I can.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
You
No.
know what?
Yes, I
What are you
can.
guys cooking with? Gas?
Of course.
I wouldn't suggest shooting into a restaurant.
No, she'd never be able to do it. She's not a good enough shot to get her name written in bullets. That's ridiculous.
You gonna stand for that?
Oh, I'm already outside.
The sentence hasn't even finished coming out of his mouth before she's outside. And in a flurry of fire, yes, she does shoot her name into the wall
Not
outside.
into the window.
A perfect cursive
Oh yeah,
there.
Annie.
It's the only thing she can spell.
Completely connected.
And is this essentially overwriting the Joes.
And while you're standing out front admiring it,
No.
And he's dead.
the light
We were
surrounds you and you're pulled out of the metaverse.
We were told we have to change. You have to change a Joe's. Like they're all the same. So if we make them different, then Tom can't use it.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Oh.
So that's why like the
okay.
other one got painted. So this one's got the Annie in it. So it's not the
Because
same.
the battle's gonna happen out front of a Joe's Diner. And they all got,
Exactly.
and yeah.
And Colonel Jackson has everyone around a table, and he's giving everyone sort of a briefing and going over the things that happened with Chad and the Space Princesses, and hearing the reports from you and what just happened in the West. And there's only 3 places left, and time is running short. So I'm going to split you into 2 teams, and you will enter the metaverse at the same time. Thomas, Rosie, Jenica, Thomas, Crash, Jenica, and Aquamarine will travel to one metaverse. It's an alternate Earth in the 1980s, currently under an alien occupation.
Okay.
And the others, Wyatt, Andy, Brony, and Maddox, you're going to go to a metaverse I am not familiar with. But the visions I have of it show that it's some kind of like medieval or Renaissance era or something similar. But there's something that's just not quite right about it. I can't quite place it.
Dysentery.
Oh, really? Weird.
And that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you for watching Masters of the Metaverse. Make sure you check us out on Zoe Game Night on Thursdays. Check out Fridays with Table Takes Christian, 11 a.m. We love you all. We're going to see you all next week. Stay tuned for more announcements on things like Big Stompy Robots. Don't forget the Journey Quest Kickstarter. We love all of you, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Happy Metaverse Monday!
Masters, masters of the metaverse, masters of the metaverse. They travel through time and space and stuff. Control them, re-roll them, throw them above. They fly through dimensions, this isn't a bluff. Heroes compelled, they have no choice. Bound by the winds of a secret voice. Masters, masters of the metaverse, masters of the metaverse. Masters of the metaverse, masters of the metaverse.